so far. The Mind Unleashed reports that it's unclear when most people will be able to get back to work, and the stimulus payments were only sent out to workers who paid taxes, meaning that many people will be unable to pay for food and housing in the coming months. A new plan proposed by two U.S. lawmakers this week in the House of Representatives calls for monthly payments of $2,000 to any U.S. citizen who is over the age of 16 and earns less than $130,000 per year. The Under the Emergency Money for the People Act would establish cash payments to a large portion of the country for at least 6 months. With some 80 million people expecting stimulus money to hit their bank accounts beginning this week, in the biggest and unprecedented instance of the government passing helicopter money directly to Americans' pockets in history, there are bound to be mistakes and errors. A volunteer firefighter in New Chicago, Indiana, was awaiting a $1,700 stimulus payment, but upon withdrawing a mere $200 from his dwindling available balance at an ATM last Friday, was shocked to find his remaining balance at $8.2 million. The Mind Unleashed reports that apparently the U.S. Treasury, or possibly the bank itself, it remains unclear which, made a huge mistake in making Charles Calvin an overnight millionaire. The millions may have stayed in his account over the weekend before it appears someone on the other end realized the massive error. Calvin says he notified his bank upon opening in order to investigate the fund's origins. Support for the Liberty Beat is brought to you by the Homestead Guru. The Homestead Guru is an educational website offering tips, tools, news, stories, and commentary on everything homesteading. Topics include green homes, gardening, animal husbandry, do-it-yourself, home remedies, alternative energy, survivalism, unschooling, and more. Those details are found online at thehomestead.guru. This is the Liberty Beat, powered by the SNLS Network at snlsnetwork.com. I'm Mick Murrow, reporting for the Liberty Beat, reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
After a flood of customer complaints, Kay Jewelers issued an immediate recall this week of over 2 million cursed engagement and wedding rings. The company's director of public relations released an apology to those afflicted.
I can assure our customers that we were not aware our manufacturers were sourcing diamonds tainted by the Darkling Urla. We're strongly recommending customers who have not yet returned their purchases for a full refund to place a mirror in a bowl of black salt, mold a poppet in your image out of clay and your lover's hair, and then burn the poppet in the mirror before the next full moon.
Industry experts are calling this the most egregious safety oversight in jewelry production since 1973, when Zales disturbed the grave of the 16th century sorcerer Maelor.
Sometimes I wake up and I'm trapped in this oil painting of a German village.
They told us that there was a 68% chance that our child would be born with no soul. They sent us this disclaimer suggesting we leave the changeling in the wood and return only at our own peril.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
It is Free Talk Live, and you are free to call in and talk live here on the airwaves. It's Mark with you.
Richie Rich.
And Melanie.
The number is 855-450-3733. That's 855-450-FREE, as in freedom. And freedom is on the ropes in America right now. Now, maybe that sounds ridiculous to you. Maybe it's like, well, we don't need freedom right now. Or maybe anybody who's talking about this, some conspiracy nut, or whatever the case may be.
You do not have freedom to spread your germs to your neighbors, no matter what.
Well, I get it. Right, like you get it. I think that's the most important point that can be made, is that there is an argument here to be had as far as you can't just, right? Like if I have COVID-19, I shouldn't be going to Walmart and licking all the deodorants like one guy did.
You shouldn't be licking all the deodorants anyway.
Agreed. But
people are doing it.
Well, right, but they should get in trouble for that. So if you're going to make that argument, you have to distinguish between things you are allowed to do if you have coronavirus versus things you are not allowed to do when you don't have coronavirus.
And since no one knows who has it or how long they had it or how long the incubation period is, we have to presume that everyone has it, which means everyone has to stay home.
That's the idea, is that everybody has to stay home. And I would say that is right. There's the infringement upon the freedom. And what I'd like to do is, rather than taking the radioactive issue, which is COVID-19 right now, is I'd like to back it off for a second. Let's talk about the flu, right? So here we have a disease that is long known, and about a quarter is deadly and not as virulent, meaning that you can't pass it on as easily.
So completely different.
Not completely different.
Okay.
No. If you think that the flu and COVID-19 is completely different, you might be a Democrat, right? Like, I'm not saying you're dumb, but I am saying that you got a horse in this race that I don't have. I'm not rooting for your horse, and I'm not rooting against your horse. I believe both of your horses are old, drunk perverts, in fact. So I don't care. I will wait until we get a much younger drunk pervert or whatever for a libertarian candidate, at which point, then we can start talking. But
Kokesh 2020.
Yeah, Kokesh 2020. My boy Kokesh. Or Vermin Supreme with Pony Economics, or
I don't know if he fits that young category.
No, he's not that young. Anyway, on one hand, people going outside with the flu would never have been considered an aggression against your neighbor, even though it is in the ballpark of as deadly as COVID-19. Yeah, COVID-19, there's some differences. There's no doubt. And I'm happy to talk about those differences. If you want to call in and discuss those differences, that's fine at 855-450-3733. But we can look at an example. And an example is the flu, and the flu is deadly. As a matter of fact, it's far more deadly if you look at it from a historical standpoint than COVID-19, because COVID-19 was made in 2019. Or was created or evolved or whatever the terminology is.
Well, that's like saying rocks are more deadly than guns. That's kind of unfair.
Right. Pointy pieces of metal might be more deadly than
rocks. Knives. But
fine.
Yeah, like just because they've been around longer, that's an unfair comparison.
Watch out for people with rocks tied to sticks. They might try to hit you with them.
Sure.
Could happen.
But guns are still more deadly.
They're more effective in killing. This is parsing the language. So
does the contagiousness, can't think of the term, does that factor into your decision when thinking about the flu? Like, because COVID-19 is substantially more contagious than the average flu, which is what upsets people when they see you out and about.
Well, it has a longer incubation period, which I think is the biggest difference between that and any other virus.
There's as far as the deadliness of it being substantially more deadly, I would have to say that I would have to see something. Well, what question are you asking me as far as I will be willing to stay at home? I already stayed at home.
Well, I'm not saying more deadly.
And I stopped shaking people's hands at conventions like a decade ago. I've been doing this social distancing thing long before any of these, hand-wringing housewives are out there, shaking their finger at people.
I'm not saying more deadly, more contagious. Right, it's more easily transmitted.
So it would appear
than the flu, apparently. So the current news says.
Yep.
So does that factor in when you're comparing it to the flu, right? Saying like, well, it's 4 times as deadly, which isn't that much, but the transmittal rate, right? The ability to transmit, if you're going out and about or you're in a group of people, right, you're more likely to transmit COVID-19 than you are the flu.
Well, for one, I would say that again, we don't know. Right? So it could be the things you touch. Don't forget viral load is important here. Nobody wants to talk about it. It's like one itty-bitty virus is floating around in the air and you're trying to kill me. Well, for one, you don't know that's floating around. And they're saying that, the doctors are saying we found it 13 feet away from, people in the ICU. And, but the viral load's important. If you get just one virus, it's probably not going to get through. You've got to have, whatever X thousands of viruses in order to, see that happen.
I seen one. It said runners leave an aerosol spray 30 feet behind them as they're running.
Yeah.
Just whoosh, that whole wall of viruses and germs and contamination. 30 feet long, one runner.
Right. And, that doesn't spend any time talking about the sun and its decontamination attributes. People do not go to the beach where the salt water is, which is, salt water is recommended for the flu and for colds to shorten duration and intensity. I mean,
so go to the beach.
Well, yeah.
Get some sunlight, get some salt water in you.
I'm certainly not recommending going to the docks and French kissing sailors, right? I would say that you have to make your own decisions as far as how safe you want to be in this world. And that includes COVID-19. If you want to be particularly safe, home might be a better place for you. No one's trying to kill you at your house. I do think that it's a great time for us to deepen our community relationships. Find people in our community that need our help. Adopt somebody who's at risk. Leave things at their door that'll help make their life better, whether it's toilet paper or baby wipes or diapers. Melanie, you just said you had a terrible time. You're having a terrible time finding diapers and baby wipes because the geriatrics are running to the store an hour before everybody and buying all the wipes.
Yeah, so Walmart opens for regular people at 7 and old people at 6. And I know, so like as for baby food, I know it for a fact because they come in those little a lot of products come in little cardboard containers and they just put the tray out.
The case.
So they'll have that container there, but it'll be empty. The stockers didn't put an empty cardboard container on the shelf.
What are old people doing with baby food?
I don't know.
Eating it. It's soft. They
Giving
don't have
it to
chew
their
it.
grandchildren?
Flipping it on eBay. I don't know.
If they're smart, yeah.
That could be a possibility, right? And that's one of these problems of rationing and how it's done. Yeah, it's a pain. So anyway, I would say that on the other hand, if you're talking about your kid goes to school and there's a kid with a deathly peanut allergy, right? It's probably best not to send your kid to school with a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, even though, yeah, sure, you have the right to feed your kid whatever you want. There's a social thing to it.
Do I need to? Whoa! Do I really need to not send my kid to school with a peanut butter jelly sandwich because some other kid has an allergy?
Yes. If you choose to send your kid to a school and the school decides...
So I have to restrict my kid's diet?
Yes.
Why?
Because you're sending your kid to that school. Send him to a different one where you don't have to restrict his diet.
If you're going to use a government agency, I like to either treat them as purely government agencies or they're acting as if they're a private entity. If it's a purely government agency, then you shouldn't be sending kids into it in the first place, and that's kind of the position I would take. If you're going to say it's more like the post office and I'm using it as a private entity, if it was a private school, they could ban peanut butter sandwiches.
Yeah, but if they don't, how is it my only responsibility is to tell my son or my daughter not to feed the peanut butter sandwich to the kid with the peanut allergy.
So peanut allergies, it can aerosolize and actually kill them if it's bad enough. But nonetheless, your thoughts, 855-450-3733, 855-450-FREE, as in Free Talk Live.
Bitcoin.com has launched a trading platform at local.bitcoin.com, allowing you to buy or sell Bitcoin Cash via dozens of payment methods like PayPal, Venmo, bank deposit, remittances, or meeting in person with cash. There are no ID requirements to sign up for and use the site, and all communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted. Finally, a global trading platform that respects your privacy. Visit local.bitcoin.com to get started trading Bitcoin Cash. local.bitcoin.com.
Gold has definitely been on the move recently, and there is no more secure investment historically. McIlvaney ICA has been helping people take delivery of precious metals and find storage options for decades. They've helped thousands of investors with their precious metal IRAs. Call ICA today for your free portfolio review at 800-525-9556 or download their free report online at ICAGoldSilver.com to learn how you can double your gold and silver ounces even within an IRA. 800-525-9556. ICAGoldSilver.com.
The next generation wallet is coming from Divvy. In just a few taps, you'll be able to send, earn, spend, and exchange digital money in seconds. Send money around the globe with only a swipe. Instantly exchange between Divvy, Bitcoin, and fiat right in the mobile app and withdraw directly to your bank account. Divvy already offers the first one-tap solution for earning passive income with crypto. Multi-tiered masternodes allow everyone to partake in the network. Visit DivvyProject.org. DivvyProject.org.
With more people listening to radio than visit Google, Facebook, or YouTube, from the very young to the very old, everyone listens to radio. Pillow companies, alarm, identity theft, nutrition, insurance, banking, automotive, the list goes on and on. Billion-dollar businesses. Why? The answer is radio, the media everyone tunes into. Find out how effective and affordable radio can be for your business. Contact 877
Free Talk Live.
You can tell by the way they're dressed, by their demeanor, that these are illegal. Okay. Do you understand that they bring in leprosy and tuberculosis?
Oh, God, here's the leprosy. Show me the news story about leprosy and not some crackpot website.
Do you understand this is our country and this is about our children?
Wait, stop the jingoistic crap. You're picking and choosing. You're saying that a bunch of murdering, raping lepers are coming across the border.
Oh, yes, they are.
No, that's nuts, Trish.
There's a leprosy colony
if that was the case, then in fact we would all know about it. I mean, it sounds like the Night of the Living Dead down there at the border, and they're just coming across looking for the brains.
You think CNN and Fox News is going to tell you this? You got another thing coming.
Why wouldn't they? It'd be great for ratings.
By design, it's meant to bring this country.
Oh, now there's a conspiracy behind it, right? You're going to tell me the NWO's behind all this?
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get one free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm. So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com.
You can sign up to receive the latest about the Liberty Radio Network via our email updates at updates.lrn.fm. That's updates.lrn.fm.
Sort of the ideas of...
I think you jumped the gun on that one a little bit.
What'd I do?
I didn't hear you. I heard the radio ad while you were doing the intro, and then now I hear your voice.
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
You're listening to... You're on a different feed, so
okay.
Maybe there's some timing issue that's going differently. Let me just plug you into another slot. That'll take care of that problem.
Okay.
855-450-3733. It's 855-450 free here on Free Talk Live. Before we get to the calls, I want to tell you about AnyPay. So, AnyPay is a company that makes it possible for retailers, online retailers, whatever the retailers are. Obviously, there's not a lot of retailing going on bricks and mortar right now, but allows your business, wherever it might be, to accept Bitcoin Cash, Dash, a variety of cryptocurrencies. And now they've made it easy for you to to earn passive income with them. So you could be a salesperson for AnyPay, effectively, a recruiter, if you will, and find businesses around your town that are willing to take cryptocurrency, hook them up with AnyPay, and you get a financial incentive. You get a portion of the sales that are made in cryptocurrency. You download the AnyPay Cash Register app, add your cryptocurrency wallet addresses. You know how to do it. If you're doing the recruiting, you know how to do it. Then install it at a real-life business and tell them at anypayinc.com what you did. And if you need more instruction on how to do this, by all means, go to anypayinc.com. I'm just trying to tell you what you can do. How to do it is probably best found at anypayinc.com. Let's go to Shannon calling in from New York. Shannon, you're on Free Talk Live. Is it Sharon?
Hello? Sharon.
Terribly sorry, Sharon. I don't have my glasses on.
That's okay. I like the name Shannon better.
What's on your mind, Sharon?
Well, you were talking, I kind of jumped in the middle of it, and you guys were talking about peanut allergies and sending your kid to school with a peanut butter sandwich.
Yes.
Because another kid has a peanut allergy.
Correct. So my son, when he was in preschool and first couple of years of grade school, would only eat peanut butter and mustard sandwiches, which in itself is an issue, but he's a little bit on the spectrum, so he had to have his peanut butter and mustard sandwich, or it was an issue.
Anybody who's had a kid,
for him.
Anybody who's ever had a kid understands what it's like to try to get kids to eat things, and they feel your pain, I suspect. Right now, I'm still having trouble getting my kid to eat anything besides chicken nuggets, and he's 12.
Correct. So it was a private school, as you guys mentioned. They can do that. They banned peanut butter, and I had an issue with it. So we had this big thing, and I looked like the bad guy. But what I was trying to explain was, the parent of the person with peanut allergies needs to be responsible for their child.
I agree.
I would have to pick my child up at lunch, have him come in my car so he could eat lunch, and then I would send him back to that school.
Did you do this very often?
Would have to do it every day if they ban peanut butter.
So, right. So the other thing, and the only reason I did that was, at 3 o'clock, school's over. They have Girl Scouts, they have Boy Scouts, they have other activities that are not peanut-free. So when you're telling this parent that has a child that's going to have anaphylaxis that their child's safe because it's peanut-free, they're so wrong. So in order to take care of the child who's peanut-free, you need that to be on the parent, and the parent has to say, we need to make special arrangements for you because we cannot guarantee everybody else can adhere to being peanut-free because they can't.
So were the kids keeping their lunch in like the classroom and cubby holes, or did they have their lunch like in a locker in the hallway, or how did this work?
The lunches they kept them in the cubbies in the classroom,
okay,
and then they would take them to lunch. But they didn't want to put the child with the peanut allergy in a separate classroom to have lunch where all of his non-peanut butter eating friends could join him, because that would be isolating him. And I said, well, instead, I have to take my kid into the car to have lunch, which is isolating him, and you're all giving this other child a false sense of security.
Inconvenience to 29 other kids for the safety of the one.
It's the way, because it's politically correct.
Right, and I do see that what we're dealing with here is a school policy as opposed to sort of anything else. But it does seem like there's a lot of solutions. Like they could.
Right, I felt bad for this mother, but I did try to explain to her, I'm not doing this because I'm not concerned about your child. I'm more concerned about your child because you may think this school's peanut free, but when they at 3 o'clock let somebody else in because they're paying them to use the space and they're using peanut butter, they're not doing right by you. So instead, I want to put it out there.
What if a kid with a peanut butter snack just wipes it on the underside of the desk? The school doesn't know about it because nothing's that clean.
Right.
And then, they're dealing with it again.
Everybody needs to be more concerned about teaching your child how to deal with issues and be an advocate for your child, be it being around, adults that are scout leaders or coaches or whatever. Don't count on somebody else taking care of your child. You need to be the one that tells your child how to deal with certain situations. It's uncomfortable for you to deal with that, but if you decide to do something for a 5-year-old to not make them uncomfortable, you're not doing them a good service. You need to teach your child. As years go on, the issues become bigger and more important, but if you're not teaching your child how to deal with the world around them, they can't live in a bubble forever.
Amen.
Thank you for the call, Sharon. It's excellent points. Excellent points. The number, 855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE. I basically don't order decaf coffee out anymore. And the reason is it's not that there's two reasons. A, people think that it's cool to make fun of decaf, right? And
why drink the coffee if you're not going to get the caffeine?
Right. That's the
decaf
question.
coffee still has a significant amount of caffeine in it.
Sometimes it depends on the brands and their methods and a variety of things. So that's the second point is that you never know exactly how decaf, the particular type of coffee they have, is. Sometimes it's better and worse. Usually the nicer coffee shops, I'm not talking about the chains, I'm talking about the individual, sort of individually owned coffee shops will often be pretty good. And if you sort of watch them make an Americano that they turn into a decaf coffee or something like that, that's the best bet I got. So anyway, what I would answer the question is of all the sanctimonious people out there that say, why are you doing coffee if you're going to, the answer is, do you like the taste of coffee? Me too. So, ultimately, I like the taste of coffee, but I can't take just too many times that when I go out, I get.
It's like a non-alcoholic beer, man. What's the point?
Well, I understand.
I like the
taste of beer.
Do you like the taste of beer?
I don't.
Okay,
I don't drink.
People like the taste of beer. That's why they sell beer.
Okay.
And
I would dispute many things about that, but let's not.
Well, not everybody likes the taste of beer, and I can see the point of people who say they don't like the taste of beer, but I have drank non-alcoholic beers, and they're great with pizza when I feel like having beer and pizza.
All right, fair enough.
The number, 855-450-3733. That's 855-450-FREE. Mark Edge, defending your rights to decaf and
but
near
not
beer.
Defending your rights to take a peanut butter and jelly sandwich to school.
Shove it down their throat. Free Talk Live, 855-450-3733.
Do you want more businesses accepting Bitcoin Cash and Dash? Now with AnyPay, you earn passive income for every purchase at those businesses. Finally, a financial incentive to spread Bitcoin Cash and Dash. You made it happen, so you receive the rewards. Download the AnyPay Cash Register app and add your cryptocurrency wallet addresses. Then install it at a real-life business and tell us what you did at AnyPayInc.com. AnyPayInc.com.
Free Talk Live is now on more than 200 radio stations nationwide. We've had more than 18 million podcast downloads, and we claim millions of listens a month. We're a multimedia ad venue with print, email, web, and terrestrial radio marketing platforms. We strive to have ad packages that cater to advertisers big and small. Contact me today at mark@freetalklive.com to see what we can do for you. mark@freetalklive.com. If you're a local advertiser, contact this station. But if you can service a national audience, contact me, mark@freetalklive.com.
The political world is a maddening cesspool of corruption and lies. Nobody tells the truth. Nobody keeps campaign promises. Nobody obeys the Constitution. Nobody puts the people first. How can we ever escape this web of tyranny? Vote for nobody.
Hi, my name is Nobody. I'm running for governor of New Hampshire because nobody knows how to live your life better than you do, and nobody deserves that kind of power. I want to put you back in control of your money, your lifestyle, your work, your body, and your life. Nobody should rule you but you. New Hampshire convicts many people of so-called crimes that should never have been prosecuted. If elected, I will pardon every victimless crime in New Hampshire history. This includes drug, gambling, prostitution, gun, and driving offenses. Nobody should have a criminal record when they have not harmed anybody.
Wouldn't it be nice to have nobody telling you what to do? Learn more at electnobody.com. electnobody.com.
The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism, will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount. So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM. Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
What's up next? Visit the Liberty Radio Network program guide to find out at shows.lrn.fm. That's shows.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live. Call in, talk about whatever's on your mind. It's Mark with you.
Richie Rich.
And Melanie.
855-450-3733. That's 855-450-FREE, as in freedom. Intercoin's team spent the last decade helping communities release apps to unite their members and coordinate social activity. Now communities can release currencies to coordinate economic activity. Two, they represent a soft but voluntary power, encouraging people to spend the currency on local goods and services that accept it, or to support the community with small fees when cashing out unused coins. Towns already do this to battle globalism, and festivals can create an extended online community that transacts on their own year-round. Intercoin is attempting to regain some of our freedoms that are threatened on the internet and here in the real world. We think that that freedom's important here at Free Talk Live, so important that Free Talk Live accepted $40,000 worth of Intercoin's tokens from Intercoin Inc. for advertising. If you think freedom is important too, check out Intercoin at intercoin.org. You can invest in this project and potentially make big gains, or just be involved and perhaps even shape its future. Intercoin.org. This could be very important. It's important. It'd be very important to the world if you decide it's very important to the world. Intercoin.org. It has that kind of potential. Intercoin.org. Let's go to the phones, folks. Graham in Pennsylvania. Graham, you're on Free Talk Live.
Yeah, hi. I saw on Facebook that there was a protest going on somewhere in New Hampshire against the stay-at-home orders.
Yeah, there's been protests going on across the nation, but New Hampshire had one yesterday. I believe, Melanie, you were at it?
Yes.
Okay.
So are there going to be any legal challenges to it?
I don't think that there's really...
Legal challenges to what? The lockdown or the protest?
The lockdown. I mean, people filing lawsuits against their governors, against the lockdowns, or against the stay-at-home order.
Somebody did here, and it never went anywhere.
I believe
last
they
time
lost.
I checked.
Didn't they lose?
I think they lost.
Yeah.
How'd they even get to court? Isn't it closed?
Well, that would be part of the problem.
Anything else, Graham?
Yeah. I mean, basically, I don't know if I should be worried about the coronavirus or not, but the way I look at these social distancing and these governor-ordered lockdowns or stay-at-home orders, I think they're just going to end up being an annual new way of life for us.
A teacher spoke at the protest yesterday, and she said that the school board told her that they should prepare to have a lockdown every year.
Can we just like move summer break to winter? Call it winter break. That's the 3-month lockdown.
Well, I don't care when public school closes. In fact, I'd prefer it if they close more often. But
permanently.
Yeah, forever would be ideal. But having a lockdown is another thing that just tells that. To me, that's important because it indicates that they want to have a lockdown every year, which is a problem.
Well, because if it's seasonal like the flu, right, then you can predict about when it's going to start and about when it's going to wrap its, yearly cycle up.
If they want to change from summer vacation to winter vacation, I do not care. But people still need to go to work and leave their house.
Yeah, and I think that so school is really a sort of unique case here because here you have the most irresponsible of the primates that roam North America, right, and the rest of the world. Children. They're dirty. They stick their fingers in their nose. They
eat it afterwards.
They'll do all kinds of vile things.
Building their immune system with dirt and bugs.
Yeah, they're just gross. And this is the place that they're going to, really, the virus is really going to spread. If it's going to spread, it's going to spread there. And then, of course, they're not very susceptible to it, so they bring it home to grandma, kill her. Maybe. I don't know what the specifics are, but that's the danger that we're dealing with here. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, this might be the real opportunity to come up with online educational alternatives that really make a difference. There are good online schools out there, and there are good educational choices for your kids, and maybe, just maybe, this is a good idea, and this is a direction we can go. What are the purpose? What it certainly does is point out what school is. School, as I've said here many times, is middle-class welfare, babysitting day prison.
And people were admitting that explicitly on the complaints from parents.
Right. That's what they're saying,
Because it wasn't, I can't believe my kid's not going to get an education. It wasn't, they're going to be behind in math.
No.
It was,
where
am I supposed to put my kid?
And who's supposed to feed him?
I can't get any work done at home because I have to stay at home and work, and my kids are at home too. And this is a legitimate complaint. I'm not saying it's not. But it's a change that we're going to have to go through. What about anything else, Graham?
No, that's it.
Thank you so much. Appreciate the call.
What about the kids who learn better in the school environment? Like if you're going to teach them and that's their preferred methodology, and all of a sudden you take that away from them, now they are disadvantaged.
Are you admitting that some kids learn better in an online environment then?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, good. Because some of them do.
That would be a legitimate argument that I would entertain. But, how am I supposed to get free babysitting anymore is not.
Understood.
And that's the argument I'm getting.
I'm saying all options should be on the table because all individuals learn differently, right? And their preferred mechanism, which they're going to educate themselves the best, should be available to them. And if you're going to close down schools and they're forced to then learn in an online environment, which doesn't suit them, that's just as egregious as forcing the people who would learn better online into the classroom setting.
Yeah, and I can't answer what there's some states, there's 9 states in the union as I hear reported that are doing nothing.
Cheers to them.
To change life. Now, likely there are people there that are changing their lives and their patterns, and people
that's fine. You could
should be responsible
that was always allowed. Like to me, that was always allowed. You could stay at your house, you could order online, you could do any of these things.
But you couldn't wear a mask to the bank, and now you can.
You could go through the drive-thru in the ATM.
Yeah. Some banks are not letting you do the mask thing.
Okay.
Others are. It really depends.
Now, I had a customer who said it was fine when the bank that he chose to bank at.
Bad Slave calling from New Hampshire. Bad Slave, what's on your mind?
Well, I want to talk about peanut allergies and the right answer.
What's the right answer?
Freedom, baby.
Thank God somebody called in with the right answer.
Unless you agree with Mark, he's going to cut you off, though.
Is ending government schools. I call it go.
I'll take any excuse for that.
Right. And the reason is not because the reason is not because we don't believe in school or education. The reason is that any school that needs to be kept alive by forced funding clearly wasn't the right school in the first place.
Well, that's not even my reason, because I don't spend a whole lot of time protesting like the post office, even though it is in fact a federal agency. The reason is that they don't actually provide education so much as they provide just breaking people down and institutionalizing them.
Isn't that what most schools do?
Well, yeah, but you could have a school that doesn't.
I would say that it's that private schools don't do that as much, and I recommend that there not be any more public schools. I recommend that they all go with private schools and self-funding.
I would go so much farther as to say, hey, we already have these buildings out there. We already have teachers in them. We already have staff in them. We have janitors. We have everything. Give them the building. Give them the whole thing. Give them 2 years warning and say, hey, you get 2 more years of funding.
Them?
What's that?
Who's the them? The schools, the teachers, the
teachers,
okay.
The janitors. I'm not 100% sure I want to give the administrators the school. I mean, lots of schools survived for a long time without professional administrators. The teachers just voted on stuff.
So here's the infrastructure, make it profitable, basically?
Well, yeah. I mean, if you're claiming that that the service that you provide is so great, and like if you could read this bumper stickers, thank a teacher, right? And then surely you should be able to make a for-profit, or at the very least a private.
That's putting the money ahead of the education of the children, Mark. That's not what they're focused on.
What are we putting the money ahead of right at this point? Because at this point, the kids are not going to school. Are they getting educated?
Hopefully better if they're doing right at home.
Well, maybe. I don't know.
We'll see. I don't know.
When you're dealing with government schools, you don't know about those numbers. Free Talk Live.
Are you afraid to go to the mailbox because of letter after letter from the IRS? Are they stacking on more and more penalties and interest? By now, you know the problem won't go away on its own. Don't let the IRS chase you to your grave with penalties and interest and liens and levies. You need real help now. I'm Dan Pilla. I wrote the book on tax debt settlement, and I help thousands of people solve tax problems they thought couldn't be solved. I can help you too. Call 800-34-NO-TAX or go to my website, danpilla.com. That's danpilla.com. danpilla.com.
Oh, so you're wearing a mask every day now? Where are you getting them?
The same website where I get my neck and body wraps, sunnybay.com. And they're handmade.
Really?
Just like their wraps in the USA.
Oh, and good quality?
Oh, very good. These are disposable face masks.
And good price?
That's the best part. I get a 10-pack for only $6.
Wow.
Yes, as a public service, we're now sourcing disposable face masks with level 1 protection at sunnybay.com. Get a 10-pack of high-quality, more breathable face masks, only $6. Our face masks are hypoallergenic, latex-free, and made for stress-free all-day wearing. Or choose our N95 respirator masks 2-pack for only $6. Supplies are limited, so place your order at sunny-bay.com, a Biomed DB design company right here in the USA. Go to sunny-bay.com and purchase your disposable face masks online. 10 masks for only $6. Just click sunny-bay.com. That's sunny-bay.com.
Houseflies defecate every 4 to 5 minutes, spreading diseases and germs. Protect your food and your health with Bug Assault, a miniaturized shotgun which utilizes ordinary table salt as ammunition. Non-toxic, no batteries required. Only $39.95. Use discount code GCN and get an extra 10% off your purchase at bugassault.com. Fire your fly swatter. Get your Bug Assault today.
Hi, I'm Derek J. To me, an activist's calling is to actively work to advance a cause. The cause for which I work is personal freedom. I believe my life is best when I engage in voluntary interactions and self-government. I reject the idea that anyone else has a higher claim to my life or my body than I do. I see people who call themselves the government as a threat to my personal freedom. I realize you may feel differently, but my relationship with the people who call themselves the government is completely involuntary. If Starbucks used some of its money to drop bombs, I wouldn't shop there. So why would I support the American empire? The empire does not require my consent.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com. That's victimlesscrimespree.com. If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com to receive our usually weekly news updates by email. Plus, we have a Twitter account at twitter.freetalklive.com, and you can follow us on the decentralized Mastodon platform at toot.freetalklive.com. So please follow us at toot.freetalklive.com and sign up for our emails at news.freetalklive.com.
Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organizations to show up at any emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare for the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the BIPCOT no government license. Cell 411 because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com.
Join the LRN.FM Discord for live chat 24/7 at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. Call in, talk about whatever you want to talk about on the airwaves. The number is 855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE. It's Mark with you.
Richie Rich.
And Melanie.
And some callers brought up sort of some of the obvious stuff. So Bad Slave just called in, and he is a bad slave. He, in fact, said that basically this is our opportunity to take a look. Government schools may very well be completely useless. So right now, we have MIT offering all of its coursework online for free. And I think they've been doing that
for a while.
For close to a decade, yeah. And many schools are doing this stuff. And, you have the Khan Academy on YouTube. Basically, you can get instruction on how to do any given thing for free, well, for the cost of your internet connectivity, online. So, tell me, ladies and gentlemen, if educating a kid is what it's about, then why don't communities hand out cheap laptops and internet connections, which are significantly less costly than giant buildings and, teachers' salaries and all these other things? I mean, why don't we use modern technology to, deal with this stuff? And
do we really want to have education be that non-personal, where it's just a kid in front of a screen? Society, the community.
We had personal education going on before?
Well, you sit there and the teacher's up front. You can ask the teacher questions. You can interject.
You can. And what I would say to that is that higher levels of service have higher levels of cost. And now that we have the ability with technology to provide people extraordinarily low cost, because the idea of having a classroom where kids went, where it was just like one class, a school marm, and nobody had shoes, was this is the only way that we can do this. You couldn't send a teacher to everybody's house, but now you can. You can replicate the teacher 1 million times and send them to people's class. Now, some kids are going to learn better than others and that kind of thing, but Sesame Street managed to figure out how to teach kids to count and letters and those sorts of things. And I can tell you as a father of a kid that was homeschooled for quite some time is, well, we can handle up to elementary education at home on the internet without too much trouble. Now, when it comes to middle school students, I'm not 100% sure. I'm not going to claim to be an expert. I'm not an expert on any of this stuff, but I'm not going to claim to be an expert on that. I'm going to say that I might fall back to what, and I believe this is a Maria Montessori quote, was basically, yeah, we should take middle schoolers and send them out to the farms to work, because ultimately she didn't feel like they were prepared to learn in that way or whatever. And look, if you're a middle school teacher and you feel differently, you know better, or whatever, you want to rebut that statement, I'm happy to hear it, because it doesn't make me terribly comfortable either. The number 855-450-3733.
So you're saying elementary school, educated home, middle school, start getting on the job, basically on the job training of some sort.
And then maybe high school is training for college if they go off to college or something else. I don't know. But I can tell you, I went to a government high school. I went to a private school from K through 8, but government high school. And I'm not saying anything. Frankly, my experiences were very similar, except the quality and personal interactivity of the instruction changed dramatically. I went from being on the dean's list, which is a good thing, by the way, the dean's list in 8th grade to failing 2 courses in 9th. That is a function of bad instruction. That's not a bad student.
From the state's perspective, I think it would be difficult to have that great of an environment, the at-home learning for elementary school, the on-the-job stuff, and then like when you're 14 years old, going, all right, now you got to sit in a classroom for 6 hours a day and learn the important things.
Well,
right? It might be hard to convince people to do that.
Wouldn't that be just for people who are interested in academics? So if you're going to go be an electrician, then go, take a 2-semester or however long it is, or an internship, and then go make bank being an electrician. If you want to be a surgeon, then maybe you have to sit down and study some biology.
Do you know what you want to do at 14 years old, though? Like realistically, 14-year-old, like,
in Germany, and I'm not saying that this is a good idea, but in Germany, they kind of determine what you're going to do at about that time. They're going to figure out what you're adept at. And, look, IQ has something to do with whether or not you're going to be a carpenter or a nuclear physicist. So, no, in fact, you can't do anything you want to do in this life unless you have the privileges that I actually believe exist. And those privileges are beauty, intelligence, and wealth. Like, those are the actual real privileges that exist in this world. And I was a gorgeous child and very, very intelligent.
And if you're at an age or at a point, regardless of age, where you don't know what you want to do, then that is not the time to spend excessive resources into job training, whether that be college or whether that be anything else.
Well, then what do you do? If you're not going to pursue academics, right, at high school age, in Mark's scenario, if you're not going to pursue academics and go to high school, right, then what do you do to continue your education and figure that out? It's going to end up being on-the-job training of some kind. Just a week.
I went to work at 12.
Okay.
See, and I had
but
this
you don't
argument.
still do that job today.
No, I did not do. I do not do retail comic book sales.
Okay.
Let's go to Josh calling in Illinois. Josh, you're on Free Talk Live.
Well, Mark, you definitely have a radio face.
Thank you.
But I'd like to say that my education system, or ideal education system, would be, if you see in the younger grades, would be more of a babysitting system as we have now. But then as they get into middle school and high school, they just have the common subjects for science, math, language arts, and history. And then they go home, they do their homework, and then they learn online the stuff that they're actually enjoying.
Right. And I would say that a kid, an adult, a person, isn't going to learn anything that they don't want to learn anyway.
Yeah.
If you're just shoving information down their throat. But I'd ask you this. What is the purpose of this elementary school babysitting service that you want to have tax funded?
Well, it's just so they babysit, because like a lot of parents, they can't afford, or not to say they can't afford, but they don't have the time, where the elementary school babysitting service would be kind of like where they're learning a little bit and they're preparing them for middle school, but at the same time they're socializing. And they're also.
I'm just going to call that elementary school because I think that's what they're doing anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. So some conspiracy theorists out there suggest that the whole purpose of school is to socialize the costs of sending women to work. Now. In my family, yes, my wife decided, she wanted to have a kid, and she was really adamant about it. I'm like, well, you're going to have to do the most of the caregiving here. That's not my goal. And so she agreed to that. But, some households, the guy does more of the caregiving, or half of it, or any of those circumstances. But ultimately, is that what you're trying to do? Is you're trying to achieve making both parents go out to work?
What I'm trying to achieve is allowing for the parents to have a basic knowledge of education, the science, the math, the language arts, and the history, and pursue the things that they find interesting, such as hobbies and stuff, in the time that they're not at school. And that's why you'd only have like 4 hours a day at school or something limited for those subjects.
It would have to be really limited for me to get behind it, because I look at the current system. I go, like, they're going to learn what they want to do anyway, right? But now they're forced to sit there for 6 hours doing nothing, where those 6 hours could be spent in addition to what they're doing extracurricular, right? Pursuing things that are of interest to them and getting them that much further ahead on a daily basis.
So you look at nations like England or the UK and the European nations, is they have about 4-hour school days that they jam all this stuff into, and it actually works great. And they have about the same education level as America, and they're more productive, so to speak. So I think we could completely limit it and have 2 hours to 3 hours a day of just your core subjects, and then you'd have a full another that'd be 7, 8, 9 hours.
Well, how about limited?
Whatever you want.
How about limited even more? So if the state wants to put together their curriculum of this is basic chemistry, basic physics, basic math, basic history even, and they can put that out and anybody can go get it for free, but then in the rest of your time you can spend learning whatever you want to learn, because if you're not going to give people a full education, which they're not doing, then why pay for the cost if you think that they even are educating?
Well, you would pay for the cost because you're getting that personalized education, which is needed.
Josh, I'm going to have to let it go there. Free Talk Live.
Remember when you first heard about Bitcoin? How long did it take you to realize this little project would soon change the world? Do you kind of wish you had gotten involved sooner? Well, now is your chance to be a part of the next revolution in money. Intercoin is working to finally make crypto go mainstream. It's designed to be scalable enough to support everyday payments and even elections without the state. Bitcoin was originally supposed to be a peer-to-peer cash system, the way we would all pay one another without having to trust any third party. But instead, over time, it mostly became a store of value. That's because every 10 minutes, the Bitcoin network must put all transactions into a block, and that block can only hold so much. If crypto is to become mainstream, for people to use it for everyday payments, we need a new architecture, one that is as secure as Bitcoin while being far more scalable. Check out intercoin.org to find out more and maybe pick up some of those coins for yourself.
Are you a cryptocurrency advocate? The Crypto Tip is the ideal outreach tool to help new people discover cryptocurrency. It's a printable business card-sized tip that you can give to service providers, preferably in addition to a good cash tip. When the server scans the QR code, it'll bring up an explanation of cryptocurrency, how to install a wallet, and allow them to claim the tip. If they don't claim the crypto, you get your tip refunded to you after a time period you specify. Plus, if they do claim the tip, you get an email alert. Create as many tips as you want at cryptotip.org. That's cryptotip.org. LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 2 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for Liberty news and activist updates. Produced in partnership with the SNLS Network and listeners like you. Online at snlsnetwork.com. I'm Mick Murrow with your latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Gold is trading at $1,731, silver at $15.51, and Bitcoin is trading around $7,025. Today's gold, silver, and Bitcoin prices are brought to you by Brave Botanicals. High-quality kratom and CBD at reasonable prices with excellent customer service. Brave Botanicals is activist-owned and mission-driven. The Liberty Beat and Brave Botanicals believe so strongly in the power of kratom, we're giving it away for free. Just go to libertybeat.news/free kratom. This is the Liberty Beat at SNLSnetwork.com. In the news, the American Civil Liberties Union has filed a lawsuit in an attempt to stop the city of Baltimore from rolling out a disturbing aerial surveillance program. The ACLU filed the suit on behalf of a group of Baltimore community activists who have raised concerns about the introduction of a controversial technology known as wide area aerial surveillance, which involves stationing an aircraft equipped with ultra-high resolution cameras over a city to track all visible pedestrians and vehicles within that city. Activist Post reports the ACLU, in the lawsuit, states that the program would violate the plaintiff's constitutional rights to freedom of association and privacy. The rights group argues that government tracking of everyone in a city would violate the Constitution's ban on general warrants, which authorize searches under broad and vague criteria. The ACLU states that the system violates the Fourth Amendment prohibition against unreasonable searches and seizures, and the First Amendment's guarantees of the right to assemble. Ever wonder where we find all the news to report right here on the Liberty Beat? Visit snls.news to get the world's most censored media published all in one place. Save yourself from the endless time spent searching for reliable alternative media. SNLS News makes it quick and easy. No ads, no clickbait, just raw headlines, 24 hours a day. Visit snls.news and get informed today without the corporate media spin. Your news now continues. Millions of people in the United States are now unemployed as a result of the ongoing pandemic and associated lockdowns. And the $1,200 that is being sent out to some U.S. citizens as part of a recent stimulus package can only go so far. The Mind Unleashed reports that it's unclear when most people will be able to get back to work, and the stimulus payments were only sent out to workers who paid taxes, meaning that many people will be unable to pay for food and housing in the coming months. A new plan proposed by 2 U.S. lawmakers this week in the House of Representatives calls for monthly payments of $2,000 to any U.S. citizen who is over the age of 16 and earns less than $130,000 per year. The Under the Emergency Money for the People Act would establish cash payments to a large portion of the country for at least 6 months. With some 80 million people expecting stimulus money to hit their bank accounts beginning this week in the biggest and unprecedented instance of the government passing helicopter money directly to Americans' pockets in history, there are bound to be mistakes and errors. A volunteer firefighter in New Chicago, Indiana, was awaiting a $1,700 stimulus payment, but upon withdrawing a mere $200 from his dwindling available balance at an ATM last Friday, was shocked to find his remaining balance at $8.2 million. The Mind Unleashed reports that apparently the U.S. Treasury, or possibly the bank itself, it remains unclear which, made a huge mistake in making Charles Calvin an overnight millionaire. The millions may have stayed in his account over the weekend before it appears someone on the other end realized the massive error. Calvin says he notified his bank upon opening in order to investigate the fund's origins. Support for the Liberty Beat is brought to you by the Homestead Guru. The Homestead Guru is an educational website offering tips, tools, news, stories, and commentary on everything homesteading. Topics include green homes, gardening, animal husbandry, do-it-yourself, home remedies, alternative energy, survivalism, unschooling, and more. Those details are found online at thehomestead.guru. This is the Liberty Beat, powered by the SNLS Network at snlsnetwork.com. I'm Mick Murrow, reporting for the Liberty Beat, reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
It's the Onion Radio News. JCPenney abandons its 45-second sale. This is Doyle Redland reporting. Word came today from JCPenney headquarters in Plano, Texas, that the retail giant will discontinue its 45-second sale. The bargain bonanza, in which all JCPenney merchandise is discounted by 60% for 45 seconds starting at 1 p.m. daily, simply wasn't pulling in enough revenue. CEO Alan Questrom.
The 45-second sale drew very strong customer response, but regrettably, only a handful of shoppers actually got to capitalize on our fantastic prices due to the horrific injuries they sustained during their stampede to the cashier.
Questrom added that plans are in the works to create a longer 2-minute sale intended to give frantic shoppers at least a fighting chance to enjoy incredible store-wide savings. Doyle Redland for the Onion Radio News, online at theonion.com.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
Free Talk Live. You can call in, talk about whatever's on your mind. A lot of people have a lot of time on their hands, plenty of time to think. I can assure you, I've been on Facebook recently, and
some personal reflection.
They've got some ideas. So,
depends on what part of Facebook you hang out on.
right. It's a customized place. It's Mark with you,
Richie Rich,
and Melanie. Yeah, people go on Facebook, collect a group of idiots, and then be like, "Well, I don't see anything useful on Facebook." Well, collect useful people. You can collect whoever you want.
That's how I started using it. It was just a news aggregator for me at one point. I found all the websites that I like to visit regularly and just put them all in there, and what shows up on my newsfeed, they're articles.
Well, that's interesting. My wife uses it just to look at pictures of puppies, and she loves Facebook. I have collected, as you said, a wide assortment of people that I wanted to comment to, and what I find is I have to be very careful in how I consume Facebook, because as a result, I can get pretty grumpy reading things. I'm like, oh boy, this person's wrong. There's a person wrong on the internet, and
you must do something.
Right. The best bet is to not do anything. But every once in a while, I'll post something, and I do post things. I intend to have it as an outlet as opposed to an inlet of information.
There's someone on there right now saying that everyone who was at the New Hampshire protest event in Concord is manslaughterers.
I think that I have that person blocked for being an idiot in general.
Well, yeah.
You went to the protest, manslaughter, convicted, guilty.
See, what they're saying on the community pages, the people who are against it, is that we're all going to die in 2 weeks. So somebody said that she's going to go there in 2 weeks and post, "I'm not dead." What I want to do is go there in 2 weeks and be like, "I guess I'm undead, y'all."
Zombie apocalypse.
I guess I'm a zombie.
Well, yeah, I tend to think we're not all going to die in 2 weeks. But look, if fear is running your life right now, tell me what your greatest fear is from this virus. The number is 855-450-3733.
The second wave.
Right. Who knows if we're not in the second wave now? What about the third wave? What about the fourth wave? Who knows? I have no idea.
That's the problem.
If this virus spreads as easily as they say it spreads, everybody's going to get it. If it doesn't spread as easily as everybody says, or as you hear on on the internet as it spreads, then you've been lied to.
And the lockdown isn't even purported to prevent people from getting it.
Flatten the curve.
Right. It's to flatten the curve. It's to parse out the people who get it. The hospitals are empty. I mean, not all of them, but a lot of them are.
And there'd be more hospitals if there weren't all these regulations that literally prohibit building more hospitals.
Aren't they sending mercy ships into New York City, and then they never had anybody in them?
Yep.
Or never anybody with COVID-19? I mean...
So what you're saying is if you're going to get it now while the hospitals can still take you?
There's an argument for that. There's an argument that you want to get it if you believe that there's going to be so many people who have it at some point in the future. Then sure, get it now. So when you can reserve your spot on a ventilator, well, that makes sense. Now chances are good. Now, and again, I'm going to restate this: everybody should adopt a person at risk in their life so that they can drop things off for that person that they need, communicate, that kind of thing. Because ultimately, your health is your responsibility, and if you're at risk, you should probably be staying inside right now. But I don't think we can lock down the world for 2 years. You certainly can't do it 2 years, 2 weeks at a time like they've been doing. This is for 2 weeks, folks. 2 more weeks. 2 more weeks.
Yes, you can't even plan, and they think that that's gonna help us calm down. But then we can't plan after the second or third time of that. Then you realize it's not 2 weeks,
right,
but you don't know how much it is. So if they had just come out and said originally, "Oh, it's going to be 4 months" or whatever.
What if it's just a full lockdown for 2 weeks? Just not even all the essential people stay home too. Like if you die in lockdown for the next 2 weeks, you should have planned better. But 2 weeks, nobody goes outside, nobody does anything. Virus will run its course with everyone who's got it.
They can't do that
2
in New
weeks.
Hampshire. We'll shoot them.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then go
what if
rob
it's the
Walmart.
best course of action, though?
But it's
Right.
not because they'll get shot.
It's just not going to work. I mean, that's
No,
not
you
just.
could do that in LA probably.
No, you can't. What you're going to have to. You have to put people out in the street, and if you don't, then people will go out into the street. No, this isn't going to work anywhere. You can't do a total lockdown because ultimately you need enforcers to enforce the lockdown. If you're going to have a lockdown.
Oh yeah, that's true too. I think of cops as not people, so I still had them roaming around, but they are people and can in fact be infected with viruses.
Speaking as a
They're human
fireman,
beings. They're human
I'm not
beings.
terribly interested in responding to calls for people that are, out there doing silly things either. But that's kind of the talk to any EMT and they'll tell you 90% of their calls are for people who didn't need it or deserved it.
I've known some EMTs, and that's the
It's
impression
easy.
I got.
It's an easy way to get cynical quickly. Is to do emergency medical because you're like, God, maybe you deserve this or whatever the case may be. Or maybe you should just stop calling me for every minor little thing so you can get a ride to the emergency room so you can get warm or whatever the case may be.
Is that indicative of the healthcare system in general then? That's what people use emergency medical services for? Like if we had the healthcare system was run differently, maybe people wouldn't need to use those services
Well, they don't
as
need,
they
but
do?
they don't need. It's a lot of the time they don't either. A, they don't need any services, or B, they did something incredibly stupid to cause them to need services. So I don't see how. I don't think you could put that one on the system.
Well, people do dumb things all the time. I don't think you're ever going to stop that.
No.
But that's
But then that's
mostly
still not the health. Like, what is a doctor supposed to do about that? What is a regulator supposed to do about that?
Well, not a
Like, well,
regulator.
this 30-year-old decided to shoot off bottle rockets out of a beer can in his face. Like, how does not having health regulations prevent the problems caused by that?
That's a problem that solves itself.
Yeah. I mean, or they pay more, right? The disincentive would be the high cost of insurance once you've lit a bottle rocket off in your face, or the high cost of medical care for that type of injury.
Yeah, but in a free market, I think you could just afford health care, and so maybe he has $100 bill or something. I don't know. Maybe doctors could charge like, okay, well, if this is a self-inflicted injury, it's like triple cost.
Yeah.
Well, I went to the doctor in Mexico, and I had what they call the touristas. Does anyone know what that is?
Nope.
Touristas is an ailment that afflicts tourists.
Oh, okay.
In Mexico. Montezuma's revenge is another terminology.
Drank
for
the
it.
water and got diarrhea.
I don't know if I drank
Oh, okay.
the water, but they say that it just happens. They don't even know. They don't even propose to tell you why it happened.
Okay.
You eat food. The food was made with the water. Who knows what happened? And I went to the doctor. Now, this wasn't just this started, right? Like I'm, trying to do things and trying to figure out how to solve this. The doctor was free. Because he's paid for by the drugstore next door to presumably you're going to go and buy the drugs from that drugstore. Now, so I go to the doctor. He says, you need charcoal pills. Charcoal pills are so cheap, right? So I go to the drugstore next door where you can buy all kinds of prescriptions without a prescription, all kinds of drugs that would require a prescription in the United States without it. And I asked for some charcoal pills. They're remarkably inexpensive. And of course, I'm going to do business with the company, the drugstore that's paying for the doctor that I just went to. But I didn't have to.
Yeah.
There was no requirement. I didn't even have to walk out of his office through the drugstore. None of that. Now, you could do it that way. Have the doctors in the
Walgreens
back.
almost does that. They do that to the extent that they're allowed because pharmacists
Yes.
can't write prescriptions in New Hampshire or most other states. But you can go in and they'll tell you, they won't do it for infants, but if you're an adult, they'll tell you what you need. And if it's not a prescription, then you can buy it from Walgreens. And honestly, most times people go to the doctor, they don't need a doctor.
Right.
They don't even need a nurse. They need a glorified drug dealer. And Walgreens can provide that. And they do, except they might have to tell you, go to the doctor and get a script for this.
Yep, they could very
Pay
well.
the doctor fee.
In which case it's a good idea to go to the doctor. But a lot of people that go to doctors for whatever reason just don't want to go to work that day. The number, 855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE. It looks like from the Washington Times here, Bill de Blasio's urging New Yorkers to snitch on their neighbors who violate social distancing.
Unsurprising.
Free Talk Live, 855-450-3733.
Bitcoin.com has launched a trading platform at local.bitcoin.com, allowing you to buy or sell Bitcoin Cash via dozens of payment methods like PayPal, Venmo, bank deposit, remittances, or meeting in person with cash. There are no ID requirements to sign up for and use the site, and all communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted. Finally, a global trading platform that respects your privacy. Visit local.bitcoin.com to get started trading Bitcoin Cash. local.bitcoin.com.
The next generation wallet is coming from Divvy. In just a few taps, you'll be able to send, earn, spend, and exchange digital money in seconds. Send money around the globe with only a swipe. Instantly exchange between Divvy, Bitcoin, and fiat right in the mobile app and withdraw directly to your bank account. Divvy already offers the first one-tap solution for earning passive income with crypto. Multi-tiered masternodes allow everyone to partake in the network. Visit DivvyProject.org. DivvyProject.org.
Gold has definitely been on the move recently, and there is no more secure investment historically. McIlvaney ICA has been helping people take delivery of precious metals and find storage options for decades. They've helped thousands of investors with their precious metal IRAs. Call ICA today for your free portfolio review at 800-525-9556 or download their free report online at ICAGoldSilver.com to learn how you can double your gold and silver ounces even within an IRA. 800-525-9556. ICAGoldSilver.com.
Free Talk Live is now on more than 200 radio stations nationwide. We've had more than 18 million podcast downloads, and we claim millions of listens a month. We're a multimedia ad venue with print, email, web, and terrestrial radio marketing platforms. We strive to have ad packages that cater to advertisers big and small. Contact me today at mark@freetalklive.com to see what we can do for you. mark@freetalklive.com. If you're a local advertiser, contact this station. But if you can service a national audience, contact me, mark@freetalklive.com.
On Free Talk Live, we're bringing people to the ideas of liberty every day. From wrestling superstars like Glenn Jacobs.
You guys really are having an impact, I believe. Like I said, a lot of where I am now is due to listening to Free Talk Live. You changed my mind on some very important issues years ago.
To random people tuning in on the radio.
I was kind of stuck in the left-right paradigm. I heard your show by chance on a Saturday night. From there, I went on, joined the Free State Project, and become an amplifier. So, I mean, that's really the reason why I amp is because I know that if it wasn't for you guys being on as many stations as you are, I never would have found the ideas of liberty.
Your amp will directly change more lives by getting Free Talk Live in front of people looking for talk radio online and on the air. When you amp Free Talk Live, you get perks like access to the AMP-only Facebook group and AMP podcast. Visit amp.freetalklive.com. The LRN.FM social media channels have been revamped. We've eliminated Facebook and focused on other platforms like Twitter and Mastodon, the decentralized alternative to Twitter. On our accounts, you'll find posts from multiple LRN.FM show hosts together in one place. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.lrn.fm, or better yet, move to the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm. I think you'll like it.
Do you want more businesses accepting Bitcoin Cash and Dash? Now with AnyPay, you earn passive income for every purchase at those businesses. Finally, a financial incentive to spread Bitcoin Cash and Dash. You made it happen, so you get the rewards. Download the AnyPay Cash Register app and add your cryptocurrency wallet addresses. Then install it at a real-life business and tell us what you did at AnyPayInc.com. AnyPayInc.com.
Live video of our key New Hampshire-based shows is streamed on DLive. Please follow and share at dlive.lrn.fm. That's dlive.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live. Call in, talk about what you want to talk about. It's Mark with you.
Richie Rich.
And Melanie.
The number's 855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE, as in freedom. There are lots of cryptocurrencies out there, but Free Talk Live has teamed up with Divvy, and they are They're sort of a new kid on the block. Their next generation wallet's coming. In just a few taps, you'll be able to spend, earn, store, and exchange digital money in seconds. Divvy says you'll be able to send money around the globe with only a swipe and instantly exchange between Divvy and Bitcoin and government money right there in the mobile app. Withdraw directly to your bank account. There's no need to wait, though. Divvy already offers the first one-tap solution for earning passive income with their multi-tiered masternodes, allowing anyone to earn by supporting the Divvy network. They make it easy there at Divvy. You go to DivvyProject.org and you can set up these one-click masternodes is what they're called, and it's because they try to make it as easy as possible for you to begin earning passive income with their masternodes. It's DivvyProject.org, D-I-V-I, DivvyProject.org. Let's go to Robert calling in from South Carolina. Robert, you're on Free Talk Live. What's on your mind, sir?
Sure. I just wanted to say that with regard to Germany and education, you can become anything you want in Germany. All you have to do is maintain decent marks in high school, and if you don't have enough, and if you have trouble maintaining decent marks, you get off early enough so that you can have a tutor to help you in the afternoon to make sure that your marks stay in order.
Do they provide tutors also?
When you get into college in the old days, they did. In East Germany, they did, yes. They changed that rule, and I don't know what it is now. But before the fall of the wall, they had 20 tutors that were available at the Technische Universität Dresden, which is in Mombergstrasse.
So are you saying that IQ has nothing to do with ability then? Because that was part of Mark's claim, right? Like certain people are just suited for it.
IQ, you should be able to do it.
Do what?
Just rehearse.
Nuclear physics was the
and the energy. I'm sorry.
I think I said astrophysicist. It was the terminology
No,
I
I didn't
used.
say anything about astrophysicist. I said anything you want to be. You can be anything you want to be.
That's one of the things you might want to be, though. Like, there are things that require a certain level of intelligence, just like there are things that require a certain level of physical ability.
You need physical strength to be able to do it, because it does take a bit of work. You have to have ambition to do it, and you have to have, in German it's called Zielstrebigkeit. In other words, you have to be directed. You have to really want it, and you have to be ready, willing, and able to help society. It's nice if you're a kind person. They'll recognize that as well, and they'll make sure that if you're that kind of person, they'll make sure you get ahead, and you get that.
But somebody with a 100 IQ is never going to be a quantum physicist.
Unless they practice hard enough and get the right instruction.
Like, it's not going to happen.
I can't tell you that for 100%, but I can tell you that if you're the kind of person who's ready, willing, and able to work, they will help you to become whatever you want to become.
I will give you that much, right? Like that determination, grit, or whatever the terminology we wish to use for the stick-to-itiveness that it takes to do whatever. If you're passionate about it, that you have a much better chance of doing whatever it is that you want to do. But, sadly, my son was blessed with my coordination. He is never going to be an NBA basketball player.
Sell him short.
Yeah, right.
He just
sell him short
hard enough.
and sell him short and sell him uncoordinated. Because that's just the reality of it. And this isn't a statement about how where's the privilege? Where's the fairness when it comes down? He's just never going to do it. And also, he has no interest in doing it. Go ahead.
Life is not fair. You're going to have disadvantages. Yep.
And when you try to make it fair, you make it wholly unfair.
Right. So if the allegation is that Germany provides academic support for their students to achieve what they can achieve, I have no reason to disbelieve that. But if the claim is that anybody in Germany can pursue whatever profession they want, that is untrue, because there is differences in people.
There are different kinds of intelligences as well.
Sure.
Right, but specific industries need specific kinds.
You'd head against a rock to do one where you don't have the intelligence at all. But if you really want to do it, the guy who started Con Edison, Thomas Edison, he said that brilliance is 99% elbow grease and 1% genius.
Well, Thomas Edison was a con artist, so I don't know how much weight I put into that.
I think that so he said 99% perspiration, inspiration and perspiration.
Yeah, 95, exactly. Yeah. That's what I meant. I'm sorry.
And I agree. No, there's nothing wrong with that, Robert, because I agree that it's determination that in large part determines things, right? Like I'm an ex-convict. I spent 8.5 years in prison, years ago, and I'm relatively successful now on a nationally syndicated radio program at 200 stations. I've pulled it off, and I didn't pull it off with my good looks and charm. I did it because I just said, you know what, I'm going to do this. And it was a lot of hard work for a long time.
But you accept that there are certain limitations to your intelligence that prevent you from pursuing
I'm never going to be
anything
the
else.
nuclear physicist. I've talked to them. I've talked to computer programmers and hackers and these sorts of things. I've talked to all kinds of very intelligent people. And I can assure you there are jobs I simply cannot do. Because, I just don't have that kind of mind.
But an average person could still do. It's not like they can't be successful in anything. It's that there are cutoffs to certain fields that require specific knowledge.
I think that it's rare, though, that a person is motivated and passionate about doing a job that they can't actually pull off. So I'm kind of between y'all here. Is I do agree that reality comes in and shows its face now and then. But when Robert's saying 99%, it's 99%. I'm fine with that part. Is that sure? It's rare that a person. I don't want to be an astrophysicist because I can't do that. Or at least,
well, if you wanted to, you'd spend 99% of your time doing what astrophysicists do, and slowly but surely you'd become good at it because you get so much extra practice at it. If that's all you ever want to do from morning till night, so believe me, somehow, some way, you'd be good at it after a while.
You're overlooking that some things require a certain amount of intelligent and analytics to go into that thing, not just practicing a skill. Like, these aren't just skills that you could just keep practicing. You have to be able to know how to figure out the material, whether you're even when you're taught it.
Some people just think differently, right? And thinking differently lends itself to certain fields of skill and academia.
That's also true.
And that's kind of what I'd like to see in some school system is some kind of training, some kind of testing to see how do you think. At least try to figure this stuff out and directing kids towards certain areas that they might be good at. So
that would be valuable.
I was given, this battery of tests that said that, you're a spatial conceptual genius. Well,
now
whoop-de-doo. What does that
just
mean?
Gets the ASVAB.
The Armed Services Vocational Aptitude Battery.
So you know what field to go into when you join the military.
Boom. The kind that blows things up. So, but they gave me a list of things that I might be good at. And had I ever been passionate about any of those, I could have pursued those things, whatever they were. But I wasn't. So there you go. Yet the problem is having teenagers decide what they're going to do for the rest of their life.
Well, that's why I said earlier, 14 seems a bit early to start picking careers.
Indeed it does.
Well, when do you want to do that, though? Like, wait till you're 25, till your brain's all developed, and then have to start then? Like, when?
Let it naturally develop.
855-450-3733.
Saddle up. It's new Dynavite for horses.
They're always on the move, always eating, grazing 17 to 20 hours a day.
In their natural state, they eat only grass.
Picture a pasture or a plain.
The nice big pasture that's very green.
The grasses and the different plants.
That's your basic forage.
I don't think there's anywhere on the planet where you have consistent, healthy pasture all year.
So we start supplementing with the hay and the grain. The grain has a lot of sugars in it, and the hay, the dried out hay, loses a lot of nutrients.
Curing under the sun, it loses about 80% of the beta-carotene, omega-3s, and vitamin E.
So Ed has figured out how to freeze-dry the greenness in the grass.
I said, why don't I make a supplement that's as close to healthy pasture as I could get?
All of the nutrients that are lost when the grass becomes the hay. I like Dynavite. It's simple, it's straightforward. My horses get what they need. I can see immediate results.
Check out new Dynavite for horses at Dynavite.com.
It doesn't take much, just one little scoop. I get my Dynavite from DINOVITE.com.
The Free State Project has reached its goal of 20,000 liberty lovers who've pledged to move to New Hampshire and get active to achieve liberty in our lifetime. Perhaps you're trying to figure out what part of New Hampshire should be your destination. If so, consider Keene. You'll find more than 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com. Keene is famous for its historic, publicity-generating activism, as well as being the liberty media capital of the world. It's home to freekeene.com, New Hampshire's destination for liberty activism, news, and opinion. For years, we've been compiling over 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com, where you'll learn about some of what's happening here and what makes Keene a great place to live. If you love liberty, you'll probably enjoy anywhere you end up in the Shire. But do your due diligence first. Please visit move.freekeene.com for the full list of over 150 reasons to move to Keene. That's move.freekeene.com.
Free speech is protected on the internet, right? Not always. Government agencies try to limit free speech and commerce on the net. Luckily, when they do, the Institute for Justice is there to defend your First Amendment right to free speech. IJ helped set the first federal precedent for internet free speech in 1999, and ever since has worked to prevent unconstitutional roadblocks in cyberspace. Visit our website today at ij.org.
There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and our main feed that includes everything. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
This is Michael Dean from the Freedom Fiends. I've run websites since 1996 and have used over a dozen web hosts in that time. AgristHosting.com is the only one that hasn't broken my heart. Agrist Hosting's uptime and service is stellar, and their DDoS mitigation is the best I've seen. That's important because if you tell the truth in this world, you'll ruffle feathers. And some people will try dirty tricks to silence your voice. No matter what the haters hit us with, Agrist Hosting keeps our websites online. If you have a mission-critical commercial presence or a world-changing activism site, you cannot tolerate any skullduggery. So go with agristhosting.com. Have a WordPress or blog site, but you're not satisfied with performance or uptime? Or just want raw hosting? Want to pay with Bitcoin? Agrist Hosting specializes in high-performance hosting with personalized service. Go to agristhosting.com and click on the button that says Get Hosted. That's agristhosting.com.
You're listening to the best liberty-oriented audio streamed around the clock, on the air, and online. This is the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
Free Talk Live. Call in, talk about whatever is on your mind. It is Mark with you.
Richie Rich.
And Melanie.
Well, I can't guarantee what's going to happen this summer, but I can guarantee you this. If it is possible to have Fork Fest, and this is the Fork of the Porcupine Freedom Festival at Rogers Campground in the beautiful White Mountains of New Hampshire, Free Talk Live will be there. Ian will be there.
Would we move it to one of the states that isn't on lockdown?
I don't even know. I haven't even considered this. But I can tell you, if you wanted to talk about that with people, you can go to the unofficial website at forkfest.party. That's forkfest.party. Now, there's other events that are supposedly not going to cancel either. I hear the folks at Freedom Fest and Anarcha Vegas are trying very hard to have their events. I support that. We have to get... There has to be some kind of exit plan. We have to have some kind of idea what's going on. You can't just go on the internet for the rest of our lives and just make fun of each other about, how come you don't believe it? If you want to go outside, you love the orange man. Right? Like all this kind of nonsense. Forkfest.party. That's fork, as in the thing you eat with, fest.party.
We're in New Hampshire. We could just open up anyway. Be like, oh, you think we're closed? That's cute. I'm going to work.
I'm with you. I don't know. I mean,
then why does it take a protest at the Capitol then? Why not just open up?
It's still bad. It still shouldn't be illegal to go outside and go to work. But it was, I will say, this was the first protest. This wasn't the first lockdown protest, but the lockdown protests are the first protests, I'm going to say, I believe, ever where somebody could not drive past and scream out the window, "Why don't you get a job?"
Let's go to Joan calling from, John. I got confused there. John, are you calling from Nebraska?
Yeah.
Okay, great. What's on your mind, John?
You guys are kind of talking about healthcare and education, and well, I think that healthcare is lousy right now, and so is education. I think we need to improve it. We need to spend more tax dollars on it.
You think that'll do it? Because I think that they spend more tax dollars on education in the United States than like all the other countries around the world.
Well, I mean, you look how much money we're dumping into the Pentagon, and I just think that we could do something more useful with that money, like maybe dump it into the public
Give it back to
schools
the people that earned it in the first place.
Something, something be more useful.
I'm with you on that part.
Is outrageous.
Like any plan that starts with let's cut the military budget by 50% is a plan that my ears perk up immediately.
I'll sign that. It won't mean anything, but I'll sign it.
Right. If you're saying let's take 10% of the money that we would save by cutting the military budget by 50% to dump it into education so that teachers' unions could get fatter and sassier and have a bunch of more silly rules that result in kids getting a poorer and poorer education as time goes by.
Common Core 2.0.
Not a problem. I mean, we got an education system now that currently churns out kids. You look this up. This is liberal publications, not conservative ones, that say 19% of kids who are graduates, not attendees, graduates of government schools are functionally illiterate.
So if it's bump up the money numbers.
So if that money is going to knock it down to 18%, cool. If it bumps it up to 20%, what difference does it make? I mean, we could have this system is really just a middle-class welfare babysitting day prison. So if you want to rename it to that, because that'd be cool.
I would just, say, could you imagine how much better off, we'd be, how much more healthy we would be if we dumped this into research and development, with hospitals and medicine and all that stuff. I mean, that would be a better use of the money, and that's pretty much all I'm calling in to say. So thanks
John. Appreciate it.
I think individuals contributing to those endeavors is a better use of the money.
Yeah. So if I had to pick between where that money was going to go and I couldn't, return it to its rightful owners, the place that I don't actively want it to not go is medical research.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. So what I would say as far as medical research is if somebody asks me, well, what about government funding for medical research? First, I exhaled loudly. We call this a sigh. And then I say, all right, well, as a libertarian, obviously my first thought is that everything's more efficient if funded by people who are interested in it and, these sorts of things. And maybe we should have universities doing medical research, and people will say often, well, we do. And I'm like, yeah, but they get their money from the government. So they're often doing a bunch of nonsense, and they're repeating things over and over again.
How high can we get quails on cocaine?
Right, and a whole bunch of...
study we actually did.
So do you not think then that government-funded medical research would go down that same rabbit hole? Like there's not going to be bloat and disincentives?
Oh, there's going to be bloat. However, you are dealing with adults as opposed to kids, so...
And medical research is a worthwhile endeavor on its face.
Well, then
Whereas being an imperialist and bombing Iraq 15 times is not.
Sure. But as a worthwhile endeavor, then the libertarian position should be that it should and will get funded on its own.
And it's not. It's not that it's not. The libertarian position is that if something is worthwhile, it will be funded.
Yeah.
But
and most of us take medications, by the way, that have long been available, and then now they're they tweak it a little bit here, tweak it a little bit there, and then call it new, and then get the patent. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just don't like to spend a lot of my time and energy complaining about systems that would exist outside of the states and that serve positive purposes because they're state funded. I don't spend a whole lot of time complaining about the post office or medical research or even libraries because those things would exist.
What about the police department? Because people want security.
The police department is not a security agency.
Yeah, but it would be.
A security agency would exist, but the police department is not a security agency.
People like having their lives protected.
Okay, but that's not what the cops do either.
That's, functionally...
if there was a agency of the states that only protected property rights, except also it stole the funding to do that, I would not spend a whole lot of time complaining about it. I would complain about taxes per se, but I would not spend a lot of time complaining about the New Hampshire security system if that was a thing that existed.
Right. The problem with
the cops.
The problem with the state largely, with government programs largely isn't the thing that they do: feeding poor people, providing medical services to young mothers, taking robbers and putting them off the street or whatever. That's not the problem. The problem is how they get their funding.
That's always the problem.
It's always the problem. Let's go to Steve calling in from Virginia. Steve, you're on Free Talk Live.
Hey, Mark. Hey, Rich. Hey, Melanie. Let me start off by saying this: the world needs ditch diggers too. Okay?
Indeed. Well, do you think they do anymore?
I wasn't saying that they shouldn't. I was just saying that you shouldn't reallocate them to positions that they're going to fail at.
Wait, but here's my point: is that at the point of a gun, we are taxed for an education system that not only fails the the parents and all the people paying that don't even have a dog in the fight there. We still all pay for the system, and the issue here is that I used to live in Connecticut. In the town I lived in, we had a technical high school. The kids that weren't cutting it in high school, they were, I guess, deemed to be maybe good tradesmen, and so the technical high school would maybe scale back on higher math and literature and teach them more rudimentary stuff and a technical skill, so that when
I think it should be looked at
they,
more as equal alternatives, not you failed the regular one, so I guess you have to do tech.
Well, there was a guy back in the 1920s. He started out called Johnson O'Connor, and he was a researcher and an educator, and he developed a system of testing for aptitudes. Okay, if in spite of what the guy said before about Germany, if you don't have an aptitude for something, it doesn't matter. You can spend 23 hours a day, banging your head against the wall like.
I've never seen that happen in real life. Just like I guess it sort of seems that passion and success tend to go together. I'm sure that they're in the course of the billions of people that have populated this planet, clearly somebody out there somewhere must have been
plenty.
a very passionate adult. Hold the line here, Steve. Passionate adults, but I haven't met too many of them. That doesn't make it not so. 855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE. Steve, I know you have a thought. If you just hold on for me on Free Talk Live.
Attention gardeners, if you need to grow nutritionally dense vegetables or medicinal herbs this year, listen, because a bioactive superfood for plants is now available. This all-natural superfood for plants is so effective at producing maximum plant growth in minimum time that it almost forces plants to grow, even under the worst light and soil conditions. It's called ProtoGrow, and it's truly remarkable. Vegetables grow faster and contain more bioavailable vitamins and trace minerals. Plants that rarely bloom will flower constantly. Sickly plants become vibrantly alive. Medicinal herbs become super potent. Flowers become more vivid right before your very eyes. ProtoGrow also improves the taste quality of all your garden vegetables. That's because it's more than just an all-natural superfood for plants. It's a proprietary blend of bioactive sea nutrients that contain the basic building blocks of life itself, which is why ProtoGrow even renews your garden by increasing the microorganisms in the soil. Learn more at growlikecrazy.com. That's growlikecrazy.com. Get special pricing for network listeners right now at growlikecrazy.com.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, the inventor of MyPillow, and like all of you out there, I had problems sleeping. Pillows would go flat, I would flip-flop all night long, I would wake up with a sore neck, maybe a headache, or feel like I needed a nap even though I slept 8 hours. When I invented MyPillow, I wanted it to where you can move the patented fill to give you the exact support you need as an individual, regardless of sleep position. MyPillow will get you into that deep REM sleep faster, and you will stay there longer. It's not about how much time we spend in bed, it's about how much of that quality sleep we get. I do all of my own manufacturing right here in the United States. I have a 10-year warranty. You can wash and dry my pillow, and I give you a 60-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to lose. And here's my best offer ever. You can buy one of my pillows and get one absolutely free.
Go to MyPillow.com or call 800-870-0305 and use promo code GCN. That's MyPillow.com or 800-870-0305 with promo code GCN.
We have some good news. The indictments against Ross Ulbricht in the District of Maryland were dismissed with prejudice, meaning they can never be refiled. This is especially good because those indictments contain the only charge ever made that Ross engaged in murder for hire. This was a serious allegation that Ross Ulbricht denies. It was never prosecuted or ruled on by a jury, but was trumpeted by the federal government and the media as if it were proven fact. The Maryland court held these indictments for almost 5 years, poisoning Ross's case and leaving him under a cloud of unproven allegations. As explained in Ross's appeal to the Supreme Court, the fact that the judge used these allegations to give Ross a draconian sentence of double life without parole violated his Sixth Amendment right to a jury trial. Judges are required to issue sentences based on convictions decided by a jury, not unproven allegations never even charged at trial. Although this is a positive development, the dropped indictment will not set Ross free. Now, a presidential pardon is Ross's only hope of freedom. Sign the petition at freeross.org. freeross.org.
What if you want to hear the latest episode of Free Talk Live, but all you have is your phone, you forgot to download our archive, and you have no data connection? You can call our Listen line at 641-793-0191. That's a long-distance number, so you may incur charges. If not, listen as long as you want. 641-793-0191. The Free Talk Live Listen line, 641-793-0191. Bitcoin.com has launched a trading platform at local.bitcoin.com, allowing you to buy or sell Bitcoin Cash via dozens of payment methods like PayPal, Venmo, bank deposit, remittances, or meeting in person with cash. There are no ID requirements to sign up for and use the site, and all communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted. Finally, a global trading platform that respects your privacy. Visit local.bitcoin.com to get started trading Bitcoin Cash. local.bitcoin.com.
Do you love Twitter? Make sure you favorite the LRN.FM Twitter account so you can receive our tweets at twitter.lrn.fm. That's twitter.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. Call in, talk about whatever's on your mind. We're on with Steve from Virginia here, talking about education. But real quick, before we get back into it, I want to remind people, by the way, it's Mark with you.
Rich.
And Melanie.
Look, if you haven't heard yet, we've advertised saveitpurse.com here on Free Talk Live for years. And I don't need to tell you what it is because it's closing down. If you have ever used Save It Purse or Purse.io or whatever the iteration of it is that you've used, they're shutting down. You need to get your money out. You need to go do that within the next week or so because, well, at some point or another, those custodial wallets, here on Free Talk Live, we've always told you, avoid custodial wallets or at least avoid putting your money in for very long.
Not your keys, not your coins.
Right. If it's not your keys, it's not your coins. And those custodial wallets will be shut down, and I don't know what they're going to do with the money that's left over. There's bound to be some that's left over. Please don't let it be yours. The website is saveatpurse.com. And if you didn't have an account there, then you can ignore what I said. I just feel like, as a public service, when we talked about it, we really need to talk about them shutting down too.
Have you found an alternative that does serves the same market?
No, but if you'd like to set one up, I'd love to talk to you about advertising.
Okay.
Steve, Virginia, you're back on Free Talk Live. I can't remember exactly where we were, but I know you were talking about.
Well, Mark, you were talking about people, and thanks for holding me over. But you were talking about the issue of passion and how passion is necessary to succeed in something. You have an aptitude for. I know plenty of people who have been passionate failures. Okay, they've been told all their life that they could achieve anything, and they're passionate about something, but they don't have the skills to put it into, to make a success of it. So, education needs to stop lying to people. That's why I'm saying, we do need ditch diggers too. The other issue is, the last caller was saying about, put more money into education and it'll be better. And, Rich said, well, maybe it's better to just give the money back to the people it was, taken.
I will always make that case, by the way.
Yes, and that's a very good case. But here's one of the things about the education system that I have the biggest problem with is the sports programs that are in, school from, early on, trying to train kids to become athletes that a very small percentage will be. And here's the real issue is that basically schools are being used as farm leagues to produce people who will later on possibly be chosen to, work for a national league or some other thing.
Well, if they're giving you a free scholarship in exchange for that, then, that's kind of a fair deal.
Not a free scholarship. If a kid's going to public school, the public is paying for him to get that training and that education to participate in a sport that.
Okay, I thought you were talking about college sports in college.
No. Even in high school, and the thing is that the talk about football. Okay, it can be a very potentially damaging game to young bodies.
Kids die every year.
The issue is
playing football.
It's also not forced in
Right.
school. Like, you don't have to take PE, and you don't have to play sports.
You don't have to.
But you don't have to take PE.
You have to take PE. I took PE at my school
taxpayer,
for a year and a half. You had to have 3 semesters of PE in high school.
No, in my high school, you had a choice between PE, band, or ROTC.
Steve?
Here's my point. My point is, as a taxpayer, I am required to pay for these programs that basically injure the children, or maybe 1 or 0.1% might make it into a professional career. But the thing is, the big sports conglomerates are using our education system, our tax dollars, to produce these people to begin with.
Are you more opposed to high school sports than any other high school extracurriculars?
I think any sports in school, because these are things that are not necessary for educating a child to become, something that is productive for society.
Disagree with that. So personally, I would say, now,
Okay.
do not put me in the position where I'm defending government school. However, I would say that
I won't.
School is supposed to teach us the things that we would use in life. I have yet to use the Iliad, have yet to use trigonometry. I learned that crap. However, if somebody would have taken on early on, perhaps teaching me about nutrition and a good sort of fitness for life kind of system instead of, I don't know. I mean, football is always the one that people go after, and it is the one I go after too, because I just think that it's a poor choice.
Basketball, you can go straight from high school into the pros, right?
You can, but I mean, basketball you can at least do for health on your own. You can put up a hoop at your house, and a half an hour every day you can run drills and play basketball. Football, I mean, I guess you could go out in your yard and buy one of those big metal things that you shove back and forth. But, football is this team sport that was so expensive and then has all the bad results that it has. I think there's really nothing out there that compares to it on the scale of, look,
right. And
I love it. I love to see these football players running down the field, these incredible athletes running down the field and reaching out and grabbing the football that's way out in front of them, pulling it back into the numbers. I think it's an incredible feat of athleticism and the way the quarterback works together with the wide receiver. I love all that stuff. Yeah. But,
that's great. Yeah. But are you willing to pay for thousands of children who will, either be damaged or never even make it to a pro career in order to allow some who have that talent and those aptitudes for
I don't think that the main benefit of sports for children is that they have this 0.0001 chance of making it into the NFL. I think it's a healthy thing to do overall. Should it be funded by the state? Obviously not. But if I have a kid in school and for 1 hour I can either put them in football, assuming it's, a kid who's up for this.
And you're not going to play tackle football at PE either. Like, they don't put kids in that danger. If you want to play football, it's the extracurricular after-school stuff.
There's a lot that happens at the line, though, right? So, maybe you don't get spiked as you're receiving the ball or whatever the case may be, or even a running back because you've got a flag on. But the big guys in the front are still shoving on big guys in the front, and those guys' knees, they blow out constantly. I'm not saying in PE class, but and we didn't play football in PE in high school. If you wanted to play football, you signed up for junior varsity. There's freshman football, junior varsity, and
that's
varsity.
kind of what I'm saying.
They had some level of competence for you if you wanted to put your body in danger.
And it typically were the people who have played like in the Pop Warner leagues or the early flag football leagues who already had the passion to play football, wanted to play high school football, and then would have to try out and make that team. Again, if we take out the government funding aspect of it, I think sports would still be an active part of a teenager's life.
Yeah, and actually playing sports, I find it insanely boring to sit down and watch someone else do it. Like, I would find it insanely boring to sit down and watch someone else go for a walk. Wow. But actually playing sports yourself, there is value to.
Thank you for the call, Steve. Let's go to Ryan calling in from Montana. Ryan, you're on Free Talk Live.
Hi, good afternoon, Brian. Driving a truck in Montana.
Thank you for your service, sir.
Yes, sir. Oh, you're welcome, sir. We're earning it. We're going hard right through the whole pandemic. I noticed that this governor of New York is blah, blah, blah about Trump, but yet he's got 7 taggers in the zoo that they haven't said anything about letting the kids into the zoo, and then they're going to get breathed on again. There's dogs running around New York. New York has no program announced to us to protect us if they lift any kind of a restriction ban to move around. What are we supposed to do?
Take personal precautions on your own.
Is there a politician that is misdirecting the negative attention that he should get to somebody else? I am shocked, sir. Shocked.
Yeah, because they could start a program with Trump and go, it's called Medical Homeland Security. That would rule everything and make these guys protect us.
I don't want their protection. I don't want the government, the governors, the mayors.
They've been offering their protection for a long time, right. Ryan. It terrifies me.
I don't want them in charge of this at all. Hey, they should just stop whatever they're doing.
Ryan, I got a question for you, if I may.
Yes, sir.
You're out there trucking right now. Are you long haul?
Long haul, sir. Heavy, yeah. Long haul, heavy.
Yeah, and indeed. What has your life changed? What's going on? What's your? Because you guys are out there every day.
Yeah, my life used to be just trucking, going to museums, Boot Hill, you name it, amusement parks for my breaks. But now that the pandemic's on, my mind and body has focused on people have to eat. We've got to get these good delivered, cut all the fun stuff out of it. Let's just get to work here and just get the job done. And that's all it's been. And we're getting tired.
I'll bet.
There's a lot of people who want to be at work. So, what are they supposed to do with the lockdown on?
Yep.
Well, they could get a class 3 or a class 1.
No, they can't because the DMV's closed and the classes are probably closed too.
Thank you for your service, Ryan.
You're right.
Appreciate it. Yeah, truckers, 99% of the stuff you've got in stores that you buy every day, they move. So thanks for all the truckers out there, all the nurses. Free Talk Live.
Remember when you first heard about Bitcoin? How long did it take you to realize this little project would soon change the world? Do you kind of wish you had gotten involved sooner? Well, now's your chance to be part of the next revolution in money. Intercoin is working to finally make crypto go mainstream. It's designed to be scalable enough to support everyday payments and even elections without the state. Bitcoin was originally supposed to be a peer-to-peer cash system, the way we would all pay one another without having to trust any third party. But instead, over time, it mostly became a store of value. That's because every 10 minutes, the Bitcoin network must put all transactions into a block, and that block can only hold so much. If crypto is to become mainstream, for everyone to use it in everyday payments, we need a new architecture, one that's as secure as Bitcoin while being far more scalable. Check out intercoin.org to find out more, and maybe pick up some of those coins for yourself.
I'm crazy about My Magic Mud. This is the most important oral care product created this millennium, and I'm not kidding. We all have different opinions on politics and issues, but we all have mouths. And I want yours to be as clean as possible, with teeth as bright as they were meant to be. I will never be without My Magic Mud. It's a little surprising, but man, does it work. If you only listen to one thing I say ever, go to mymagicmud.com and get 20% off with code FTL. mymagicmud.com, code FTL.
Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get 1 free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 3 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for Liberty news and activist updates. Produced in partnership with the SNLS Network and listeners like you. Online at snlsnetwork.com. I'm Mick Murrow with your latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Gold is trading at $1,731, silver at $15.51, and Bitcoin is trading around $7,025. Today's gold, silver, and Bitcoin prices are brought to you by Brave Botanicals. High-quality kratom and CBD at reasonable prices with excellent customer service. Brave Botanicals is activist-owned and mission-driven. The Liberty Beat and Brave Botanicals believe so strongly in the power of kratom, we're giving it away for free. Just go to libertybeat.news/free kratom. This is the Liberty Beat at snlsnetwork.com. In the news, the American Civil Liberties Union has filed a lawsuit in an attempt to stop the city of Baltimore from rolling out a disturbing aerial surveillance program. The ACLU filed the suit on behalf of a group of Baltimore community activists who have raised concerns about the introduction of a controversial technology known as wide area aerial surveillance, which involves stationing an aircraft equipped with ultra-high resolution cameras over a city to track all visible pedestrians and vehicles within that city. Activist Post reports the ACLU, in the lawsuit, states that the program would violate the plaintiff's constitutional rights to freedom of association and privacy. The rights group argues that government tracking of everyone in a city would violate the Constitution's ban on general warrants, which authorize searches under broad and vague criteria. The ACLU states that the system violates the Fourth Amendment prohibition against unreasonable searches and seizures, and the First Amendment's guarantees of the right to assemble. Ever wonder where we find all the news to report right here on the Liberty Beat? Visit snls.news to get the world's most censored media published all in one place. Save yourself from the endless time spent searching for reliable alternative media. SNLS News makes it quick and easy. No ads, no clickbait, just raw headlines, 24 hours a day. Visit snls.news and get informed today without the corporate media spin. Your news now continues. Millions of people in the United States are now unemployed as a result of the ongoing pandemic and associated lockdowns. And the $1,200 that is being sent out to some U.S. citizens as part of the recent stimulus package can only go so far. The Mind Unleashed reports that it's unclear when most people will be able to get back to work, and the stimulus payments were only sent out to workers who paid taxes, meaning that many people will be unable to pay for food and housing in the coming months. A new plan proposed by 2 U.S. lawmakers this week in the House of Representatives calls for monthly payments of $2,000 to any U.S. citizen who is over the age of 16 and earns less than $130,000 per year. The Under the Emergency Money for the People Act would establish cash payments to a large portion of the country for at least 6 months. With some 80 million people expecting stimulus money to hit their bank accounts beginning this week in the biggest and unprecedented instance of the government passing helicopter money directly to Americans' pockets in history, there are bound to be mistakes and errors. A volunteer firefighter in New Chicago, Indiana, was awaiting a $1,700 stimulus payment, but upon withdrawing a mere $200 from his dwindling available balance at an ATM last Friday, was shocked to find his remaining balance at $8.2 million. The Mind Unleashed reports that apparently the U.S. Treasury, or possibly the bank itself, it remains unclear which, made a huge mistake in making Charles Calvin an overnight millionaire. The millions may have stayed in his account over the weekend before it appears someone on the other end realized the massive error. Calvin says he notified his bank upon opening in order to investigate the fund's origins. Support for the Liberty Beat is brought to you by the Homestead Guru. The Homestead Guru is an educational website offering tips, tools, news, stories, and commentary on everything homesteading. Topics include green homes, gardening, animal husbandry, do-it-yourself, home remedies, alternative energy, survivalism, unschooling, and more. Those details are found online at thehomestead.guru. This is the Liberty Beat, powered by the SNLS Network at snlsnetwork.com. I'm Mick Murrow, reporting for the Liberty Beat, reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
This is the Onion Week in Review. Apparently oblivious of the dismal fiscal climate, local dog Digby is wolfing down kibble as if the United States isn't in a goddamn economic crisis. Sources say the shockingly selfish 4-year-old German Shepherd appears callously unswayed by the constant stream of gloomy market forecasts and continues gorging on brand-name pet foods, milk bones, and table scraps as if the U.S. unemployment rate hasn't been above 8% for the past 3 years.
Here we are tightening our belts while this dog scarfs down bowl after bowl like the Dow Jones Industrial Average has gone through the goddamn roof or something. You think that he'd think twice since U.S. credit rating's been downgraded, but Digby doesn't give a damn. Ain't that right, Digby? You don't give a flying f***, do you?
The Onion solemnly bids farewell to the 22 crew members who perished during the production of today's Week in Review. You will be missed. For more, visit theonion.com/newsbeat.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
Free Talk Live. Call in, talk about whatever is on your mind. That's what we do here on Free Talk Live. That's why we named it Free Talk Live. You feel like people aren't listening to you on Facebook? I mean, there you are. How many friends you got? Couple dozen or something.
It's the interaction on Facebook, though. Here, you only get to interact with the 3 hosts, not the millions of other people out there.
Yeah, well, but you don't get to interact with millions of people on Facebook either.
Okay.
And if you've got something important to say, how many people are actually going to see it on Facebook? Versus here, where, Free Talk Live's on 200 radio stations across the country, darn close to it. I know we were up to 209, and then, the COVID thing happened. Lots of stations have flipped to music. I don't understand why that is. Maybe it's because they just don't have the programming for it. It's easier to run a music station. I don't know. They don't have people coming in. I don't have any answers for you. Radio's supposed to be essential, but at least that's what I tell myself as I'm driving to work.
Well, that's what the order number 16A in New Hampshire said.
Yes, it's true. So anyway, the number 855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE as in freedom. Let's go right to the phones. Luke Freeman calling in from New Jersey, listening on Discord. Luke, you're on Free Talk Live.
Hi, Mark. Can you hear me?
I can.
Okay. I wanted to talk about Operation Gridlock. And is it a violation of the NAP?
So the NAP stands for Non-Aggression Principle. This is the guiding principle that libertarians use to run their lives, and it means that you may not aggress against other people. Now,
it's like a foundational principle.
It is the foundational principle, and aggression would be defined as using, theft or fraud or violence or whatever against somebody who hasn't done it to you. Go ahead, Luke.
That's correct. That's correct. And it seems like this Operation Gridlock is different than a regular rally or protest. It's where all the cars go in one particular neighborhood in a capital or wherever, and they all just don't go anywhere. They lock the whole street up, and no one can go any direction.
So, yes, it is. Blocking a road is different than having a protest or a rally. And blocking a road is effective kidnapping. And even though I agree with, so usually I get words I can't say for saying negative things about the protesters who block roads, because usually I disagree with them, not always. But these I actually 100% agree with, but they're absolutely wrong for blocking roads.
No one is sympathetic to a road blocker either.
And that is true, but I would like to say this: the reason that they're choosing to do the protest in the manner that they are is in part because it's illegal for them to stand outside within 6 feet of each other.
Who cares? Just stand outside within 6 feet of each other and protest.
That doesn't mean you get to kidnap other people who have nothing to do with it.
I know, but
don't block roads, period.
I'm not saying you should block roads. Please, believe me, I'm not saying that. I've said for years, don't block roads. However, the reason that people are choosing to do Operation Gridlock the way they are is because it is legal for them to be in their vehicle.
Is it legal to just...
Which is a stupid thing.
Because it's illegal to intentionally create a gridlock?
I think, look, let the cops sort that out as far as I'm concerned on it. What I would say is What's dumb is they tell you to be 6 feet away. Well, I rarely stand within 6 feet of people. I mean, how often are people at protests aren't piled up?
All of us right now.
Yeah.
So yeah, it not
you
only
go buy
is
groceries and you stand 6 feet away from the cashier.
Yeah, our heads are 6 feet from each other. Sure.
not only is it dumb, it is a violation of the NAP, and it's a weak protest, right? If you want to protest what the state is doing by not letting you go out and do your thing,
by not letting other people go out because
right.
you're blocking
go out
the
and do your
roads.
thing.
Give the moral high ground to the other side by by letting them say you're blocking the ambulances, right? So maybe you never saw an ambulance, but you gave them the opportunity to say, "Well, that's because you blocked
you're blocking people the few people who are still allowed to go to work. You're blocking people who are trying to go to work illegally. You're blocking people who are going. I don't care if they're going to bang hookers and smoke crack. You're blocking them, and you need to stop."
Yeah, but the people on the other side value ambulances far more than they value freedom. So don't give them what obviously the average person is going to find important, which is ambulances. Go ahead, Luke.
I agree with everything you guys just said. I was thinking about this for a while, and I know a lot of people in the libertarian circles in New Jersey who have been talking about this. There was a protest on Friday where we drove slowly down the road, beeping our horns, and people were on the side of the road with megaphones, but the traffic was still able to get through.
If you want to hold up traffic,
okay.
Just roll at the speed limit. see what that does.
Just do that in front of a cop. That's my favorite thing to do is go the speed limit in front of police officers because they don't like it either.
Well, what am I supposed to do? I can't speed.
Well, that's the thing. I thought like that before, right? And I'm like, yeah, he's not going to mind if I'm going a little faster because I'm not in his way. Then you get pulled over.
And now I just don't speed very often.
Yeah.
I just don't do it because I don't want to get. I don't believe in giving free money to the government. Is the main reason.
I don't do it in New Hampshire because I'm driving sideways up a mountain in a van and the speed limit's 55.
My favorite thing happened though today. I got passed by a guy who was sick, not only sick of me, but sick of the pickup truck that was behind me, and passed both of us at a high rate of speed. It was a little European sports car. He could get up to a high rate of speed pretty quickly. And another car was coming in the front, so he manages to scoot in. He just kind of surprised me. He was going so quickly. And then, sure enough, about 2 miles later, there we are at the stoplight.
And you're more likely, if you're in a state where there is lockdown, which is most of them, you're more likely to get pulled over right now because I don't think the quotas have changed and there's less people on the road, so they are going to stop a higher percentage of them.
Oh, yeah.
Well, Luke, I guess it looks like you found your Confederates. We agree with you. We don't think that road blocking protests are a good idea.
Road blocking is okay for emergencies like picking up the accident off the road, and it's okay for road repairs. It's not okay for anything else.
Thanks for the call, Luke. Appreciate it. Oh, let's go to JT in Pennsylvania. JT, you're on Free Talk Live.
Hi. Yes, thanks for taking my call.
You're welcome.
Time on my hands.
Yeah, don't we all?
So I'm calling about unlawful assembly and how it starts.
Okay.
It starts by people going out and assembly.
I went to one yesterday.
This is a little bit more convoluted, I guess. The DNR, or the Department of Natural Resources in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, is an element of the government of Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
And as an enforcement arm, their presence is virulent in the Allegheny National Forest and have heel-on-throat power as they juggle with vague regulations and arbitrary laws, and these regulations oscillate wildly without common reason. This ultimately has forced elements of the gas and oil industry, as well as timber conglomerates here, into a litigation maze with no exit. There was and is an undeclared war against these regulation anomalies and their enforcers. This has gone on here for decades. Sabotage, open protest, etc., and backlash.
Who's
from
sabotaging
the DNR
whom?
Sounds like a great thesis paragraph.
It could be disgruntled workers. It could be open
what are they? What are they?
Left-handedness against the regulations.
I can't tell what side you're on, and it sounds like you're reading from a paper.
I am.
It's okay to have.
But which side are you on?
I'll tell you in a minute if you just give me one moment. Okay?
All right. Well,
The backlash from the DNR is for real. From backroom dealings to ridiculous actions on private enterprise, and private citizens, including fines and arrests. Now bring into this war zone that's been going on for decades the peace-loving rainbow people. I don't know if you know about the rainbow.
Oh yeah, these people are a lot of fun.
Okay, yeah, who have been coming here to assemble for more than 40 years. The ANF, the PA Stadies, and other law enforcement mobilize with zeal whenever the rainbow decide to arrive. You can literally find checkpoints in the middle of nowhere. I'm not joking.
I'm not surprised.
Or you can come across command posts or LZs for sky blue copters. Now the ANF have stuck their toe in. Thugs with
what is the ANF?
gun-on-hand confrontations. Excuse me?
What is the ANF?
Allegheny National Force law enforcement officers are thugs.
I do love the rainbow people, I got to say.
And law enforcement officers are thugs.
Well, Free Talk Live, 855-450-3733.
She became overweight, stinky, several vertebrae fused together. Sophie was going to be euthanized. DINOVITE.com. I remember Sophie starting the Dinovite. She has loved it. She is no longer stinky. She is full of life. Dinovite is nutrition. Get them on Dinovite right away while they're healthy.
You won't believe how happy your dog will be.
I get my Dinovite from DINOVITE.com.
Free Talk Live is now on more than 200 radio stations nationwide. We've had more than 18 million podcast downloads, and we claim millions of listens a month. We're a multimedia ad venue with print, email, web, and terrestrial radio marketing platforms. We strive to have ad packages that cater to advertisers big and small. Contact me today at marketfreetalklive.com to see what we can do for you. Marketfreetalklive.com. If you're a local advertiser, contact this station. But if you can service a national audience, contact me, marketfreetalklive.com. The next generation wallet is coming from Divvy. In just a few taps, you'll be able to send, earn, spend, and exchange digital money in seconds. Send money around the globe with only a swipe. Instantly exchange between Divvy, Bitcoin, and fiat right in the mobile app and withdraw directly to your bank account. Divvy already offers the first one-tap solution for earning passive income with crypto. Multi-tiered masternodes allow everyone to partake in the network. Visit DivvyProject.org. DivvyProject.org.
Gold has definitely been on the move recently, and there is no more secure investment historically. McIlvaney ICA has been helping people take delivery of precious metals and find storage options for decades. They've helped thousands of investors with their precious metal IRAs. Call ICA today for your free portfolio review at 800-525-9556 or download their free report online at ICAGoldSilver.com to learn how you can double your gold and silver ounces even within an IRA. 800-525-9556. ICAGoldSilver.com.
A local man treats his girlfriend to a sumptuous 20-second massage, and an area desk doesn't mind if people sit on it like a chair every once in a while. This is the Onion Week in Review. Following months of anticipation and global fanfare, the royal baby was finally born this week. Sources close to the royal family say the newborn prince spent his first days crawling around Buckingham Palace, eating his first meal, and even speaking his first words. The Onion has obtained this exclusive audio clip.
Ave Antichristi, Ave Antichristi,
In other news, a man's annual 6-sentence conversation with his cousin goes smoothly, a generous improv troupe performs for free, and a pool owner has a bathing suit that touched his penis you can borrow.
This is the Onion News Network.
So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM.
There are basically two types of advertising: direct response and branding. Radio's great for direct response with its low cost to listener ratio, but audio can't be beat for branding, which is a longer term endeavor. You want to be the first thing that someone thinks of when they think about your product or service. If you have a local business that you want kept top of mind in your community, call the station. If you need national reach, Free Talk Live's got around 200 radio stations, millions of monthly listening sessions, can suit all budgets, and if we don't think we're right for you, we'll tell you. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com.
You can put the Liberty Radio Network on the air in your area. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how. Broadcast.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live. You can call in and talk about whatever is on your mind. I mean, there's a lot of people on the phone lines, but nonetheless, you can call in. The number, 855-450-3733. That's 855-450-FREE. Richie Rich, do me a favor.
Yep.
Run into the other room and call for Ian.
You got it.
The computer's just shut down here, and so we are sort of stuck on our own, which means that I'm going to have to ask GCN, presuming I'm going out of the over the airwaves, and I believe I am. I'm going to have to ask them to take the calls here shortly. I do remember the calls that were there. But I want to tell you about Bitcoin.com. Bitcoin.com is your source for all news related to cryptocurrency, Bitcoin Cash, whatever it is. They've got that news, and they will, in fact, make it easy for you to, A, find out what cryptocurrency is. Learn about it. It's right there. Get started, I believe, is the tab, the marker on the tab. Get a wallet so that you can hold currency. They'll give you some free Bitcoin Cash at, I think it's free.bitcoin.com. They will give you all the news, tell you how to buy cryptocurrency, a whole variety of things. They are the one-stop shop. They've aimed to be the one-stop shop. They are the one-stop shop. It's bitcoin.com. And I love them. So let's go here to the phones. I know that we have a New Yorker on the line. We got Greg in New York. Greg, you're on Free Talk Live. GCN, put Greg on if you would, please. I don't have any control over the phones at this point.
Oh.
There we go.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes, I got you now.
Hey, I just wanted to share what's on my mind. Over the last month and a half, I've been hearing from both camps. The Bill Gates camp that says, we need to have the quarantines last as long as they need to because we need to save lives. And then the other camp says, hey, we have constitutional rights and we can't just be locked up in our homes.
Yep.
And I wanted to just tell you what perspective I've come up with.
Now, you did, in fact, get ill from corona, like so many people did in New York, right?
Yes, I did. Yes,
I think that gives credence for whatever reason. Like, you get to talk about it. So go ahead.
True. Yes, I survived it. I feel actually great now, but I still feel like I could be shedding the virus even though I have antibodies. And so I urge everybody to wear a mask when you're walking into a building. So this is what I think.
Okay.
And make sure it's one of those masks that actually prevents virus spread.
If you can get one.
Right.
You can't.
Well, then the cloth mask is virtually useless then.
Go ahead, Greg.
Well, I'm going to say something surprising. The point of the mask is not to protect yourself from catching the virus. Okay, that is not the point. And our government and leaders got it all wrong. They were telling people not to wear masks. If you go back to March 2nd, they were still telling people everything's fine. In New York City, I saved this official bulletin coming from, the health department or something. They said, there have been no confirmed cases in New York City. This is February 26th. And the risk to New Yorkers is low. Okay? In the light of what you see now, it's laughable. I'm going to say that the quarantines and lockdowns are a failure of government. Because if there's one thing the government should do, in my opinion, is coordinate and to put out guidance and leadership on what people and organizations should do. What should they do?
If you trust them to do that, you're going to have a bad time. Right.
They can't even tell us if we should wear masks or not. How are they going to coordinate all of people's lives and businesses?
Well, exactly. It's a huge responsibility, and they're bound to mess it up. And
every
the thing
single
is,
time.
Often.
Well, yeah, anyone placed in charge of such decisions. But here's the thing. In retrospect, and this is going to become relevant whenever we all leave the quarantine. And if we have a failure this time, there's going to be another quarantine, another lockdown. So what we need to do is outside, when we're distancing, you don't need masks. In the outdoors, and in many states, there's not a lot of there's not a lot of people packed together in elevators and skyscrapers and all this stuff. Okay, but when we go out and people start working, and there's going to be Mardi Gras or something else, right? We need to wear masks when entering a building. What I'd like to see, and we don't need government for this, we can have each private building institute this. Put people in the lobby who will turn other people away unless they have masks. Have a bunch of masks in the lobby and make people wash their hands maybe even before entering the building. So
or at the very least have that alcohol spritzer thing that become ubiquitous. I mean, they're around more and more than they ever were.
I'm not going to refute what a private business can do in their lobby, but if the solution is to wear masks that don't stop the transmission of viruses in the midst of a viral pandemic, right? Well, to convince the public that somehow masks in general are safe is foolish nonsense.
I think masks stop spittle is probably and that's an obvious statement, right? So
sure.
We spit when we talk.
Sure.
And here on the radio.
But if you spit into your mask, the virus gets through. Because it's not a one-way mask.
No, it doesn't go through the speed.
If the virus can come in through the mask because the mask doesn't prevent the viral transmission, it can go out.
Again, we're back to viral load, okay? I mean, so this is amateurs, right? Talking about viruses. So consider the amount of viral load. A virus can slide through a mask or whatever the case may be. There's no mask that it can't. But it doesn't matter if one virus does. It matters if 200 million of them do, or whatever the number might be. I don't know what the number is. I wouldn't propose to know what the number is. And let's not forget, masks are great because you can now not have your identity tracked constantly by the facial recognition software cameras that they're putting up all over the place.
Look, and again, I showed you a picture of me, Mark, from 2010 where I was driving around with a face mask, skull cap, and sunglasses on in Hawaii. Right?
I didn't see that one.
Maybe they're just testing to see if they can track us with just their phones and not the facial recognition too.
I'm well ahead.
Yeah, people aren't getting rid of the phones. I can tell you, we're tracked.
Well, I'm well ahead of the mask trend to protect my identity and privacy issues and obscure facial recognition.
Go ahead, Greg.
Facial recognition, sure, but they can still get you by the way you walk, or there's different ways. But I do, and now your heartbeat. They can look at the infrared. Right, and whatever. But here's what I wanted to say. The main physics of it, okay, is that the virus comes out of your mouth and nose. There's only one other place the virus comes out of, and that gets flushed into your toilet and can be used, and Sweden used it to find out how many people were really infected.
How they do that?
By the proportion. They analyzed the fecal matter that went into the sewers.
How would they know what the percentage of the population is that has it through that? This is the thing: is I don't trust the numbers of how many people are infected. There's just an article that came out, I think it was yesterday, that said that they were going around New York City asking people about it. All kinds of people were in fact infected. They didn't know they were infected, and we just don't know how many people are infected, or they've got their symptoms are so mild that they don't even get it. So. Anyway, Greg, thank you for the call. Appreciate that. Appreciate you calling in. And, they can tell all kinds of things about you from these facial recognition cameras. And even, he's right, you register your gait. They can tell by the way I walk that I'm a ladies' man with no time to talk. 855-450-3733. That's 855-450-FREE. Free Talk Live.
Bitcoin.com has launched a trading platform at local.bitcoin.com, allowing you to buy or sell Bitcoin Cash via dozens of payment methods like PayPal, Venmo, bank deposit, remittances, or meeting in person with cash. There are no ID requirements to sign up for and use the site, and all communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted. Finally, a global trading platform that respects your privacy. Visit local.bitcoin.com to get started trading Bitcoin Cash. local.bitcoin.com.
Find out about your common law rights. Move about the land freely in your personal conveyance or on foot. Know what to say if stopped by a man or woman in a costume, and proceed safely on your way. Also, find out how to lawfully keep all the money you make free of tax. Protect your liberty and freedoms in a peaceful and lawful way by adding William Stenson 60 at yahoo.com to your Skype contacts. And let's talk free on Skype. That's William Stenson 60 at yahoo.com.
Hey guys, Mark Claire here, lionsofliberty.com, where we strive to advance the ideas of liberty daily. We bring you the Morning Roar. That's right, every Monday to Friday we'll have a brand new edition of the Morning Roar, where we provide a roundup of some news stories that you may not find in the mainstream media or even in your typical social media newsfeed. We find stories that relate to the ideas of liberty and provide you with our liberty perspective on them. Every Monday, we have our longest-running feature, Mondays with Murray, named after the great libertarian Murray Rothbard, where we'll examine an article or an excerpt from his works and help convey his view, along with our little spin as well. We wrap it all up every Friday with Felony Friday, where our own John Odermatt goes out and takes a look at some sort of felony. There's felonies committed every day, you know, whether it's a felony committed by the police, a politician, or even an average citizen. You can find all of this and so much more over at lionsofliberty.com. Advancing the ideas of liberty daily.
Looking for a great real estate investment? Consider New Hampshire, which is ground zero for the Liberty Movement. Your first call should be to Mark Worden from Porcupine Real Estate. He's more than just a real estate agent. He's your New Hampshire concierge. Where are the best places to live? Do you want farm, city, the burbs, or forest? Do you want a duplex or multifamily building so that renters pay your mortgage? There are homes in all price ranges in New Hampshire, and Mark can help with financing too. Invest in liberty and property. Mark Worden can help.
PorcupineRealEstate.com. If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com to receive our usually weekly news updates by email. Plus, we have a Twitter account at twitter.freetalklive.com, and you can follow us on the decentralized Mastodon platform at toot.freetalklive.com. So please follow us at toot.freetalklive.com and sign up for our emails at news.freetalklive.com. Why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take liberty just as seriously as I do.
I moved to the Shire because I saw videos of people challenging authority and thought that I could get support myself. It called to me, like, do this, right now.
I wanted to be around people like me who got it, and once I got here, I knew there was nowhere else that I wanted to be.
I've always wanted to change the world, so I moved to the Shire to join people who were actually working towards doing the same thing.
The people here are awesome, loving, and positive. It was for the adventure and for the feeling of something important is happening here, and I just wanted to come to sort of be part of that.
Visit ShireSociety.com to read and sign the Shire Society Declaration and learn the reasons why, if you love liberty, you should immigrate to the Shire. Plus, connect with others via the forum at ShireSociety.com. That's ShireSociety.com.
Help get LRN.FM into more ears. Visit promote.lrn.fm for a free bumper sticker, flyers, banners, graphics, and more. Promote.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live. We can take your calls.
Back up and running.
The number 855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE. Yes, if you have called in, I do see you there. Don't you worry.
Can we get a Windows 10 vaccine so that that thing doesn't get viruses and shutdowns all the time?
Is that what happened?
No, probably not.
Okay.
And then it gives you that little happy face like, I am completely inept at my job as a computer. Happy face.
This is the guy we want in charge of the COVID-19 vaccines? That guy?
Because programmers should always develop vaccines.
You know, I'm happy for the uptime I get from my computers. A lot of loads put on these little personal computing devices. I remember it was a big deal to have a scientific calculator when I was in high school in chemistry class. I played around on my cousin's PC, but when I was in high school at 18 years old, I'm 49 now, for those who don't know. It was the idea of having a computer in your home was ludicrous in the 1980s. In the 1990s, people were beginning to start thinking about these computer things, and some people had them even by the end of. But there were plenty of Americans that didn't have a computer by, the Y2K changeover.
I didn't have my first computer of my own until like freshman year of college.
And what year was that?
1999.
1999. So let's go to the phones, to the fun. First, before I do that, I have to thank Paul Barnes, who is a Silver Amplifier. Paul, you and people like you who might go to amp.freetalklive.com are worthy of our thanks because you're the ones who keep us going. It's amp, A-M-P, amp.freetalklive.com. Let's go to David calling in from Virginia. David, you're on Free Talk Live.
Thank you. I've got to tell you, you opened my eyes in so many things. I used to be a hard conservative, and some of the things that you've introduced me to have really made a difference. Even questions like, do you really want a real ID system where the government determines you have papers to travel about? This is something we still have to resist today. But the big thing for me, there is a person on YouTube named Josie Outlaw, I think.
Oh, yeah, she used to be on the show at one point.
She had a video, and it was titled, A Prison by Any Other Name. And it just hit me home. And after that, I learned more about the Prussian education system. And I'll tell you what, considering this virus is not a good thing, but it also offers an opportunity to turn to a completely internet education system where the savings in tax dollars could be returned to the families so they could have a better standard of living and afford to stay home and care for their kids.
Yeah.
And even more than that. I mean, why is a state using my money, my tax dollars, to propagate opinions that I disagree with and find odious?
Because you voluntarily give them that money.
I don't think the property taxes are voluntary.
It's in the Virginia Freedom of Religion document that Madison wrote, that it's tyranny to compel people to fund the propagation of ideas not their own. And I'll tell you what, we should be going to the internet system, because what are we going to do in September? Send our kids into those flu breeders,
cesspools,
where they're all together in large groups. What are we going to do? It jeopardizes their lives, and I don't want to do that. I'd rather put my kid on the internet, and heck, most of what I learned of any value, lasting value, came from home anyway.
Yeah, I have to agree 100%. I mean, we educated my kid at home for a long time. We just recently this year sent him off to a private school, and the reason we sent him off to a private school was because, frankly, I felt like he kind of knew the stuff that he needed to know and wanted to hang out with other kids. Right. And
can I say one last thing?
Yeah, go ahead, David.
It's something that upsets me deeply. Why are my tax dollars funding, and I hate to say the word, a communist socialist union like the NEA and the AFT, or even for that matter, the MLA conference, considering what they push on our kids?
I don't even know what those letters necessarily mean.
So two things. I'm on record of saying the only legitimate protest is a tax protest, right? So if you want to stand your ground there and say, like, I'm not funding this, then you have to find a way to withhold your tax payment and accept whatever consequences comes with that if you can't rally support, your neighbor's support behind you to defend against the aggression that the government will bring forth.
Yeah, so
That's
giving them
tough.
a house,
It is tough.
Giving them a house instead of a couple grand is not defunding them.
Understood.
My vote is to simply go to internet schooling for their safety, so they don't get exposed to diseases and pestilence.
Then you need to find a state or a country, right, with better homeschooling laws than where you're currently at, and move there.
Wait, who says his state doesn't have good homeschooling laws?
I don't know what Virginia has or doesn't, but I would say this.
Better than California.
The first step on this activism is to simply advise people that this is a good idea. And calling into a nationally syndicated radio program is probably a good place to start. To say, hey, look, now's the perfect time because we're already doing it.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
I spoke to a public school teacher today. Thank you, David. I spoke to a public school teacher today who says she's working just as hard now under these conditions as she would otherwise be doing. And so, it's different, not easier.
And if she's teaching
blah, blah.
internet classes, that might be true.
Yeah. I don't know. She, So
it might be more difficult because it's easier to hide in a little tiny square than it is like in a classroom where you're physically there. And I'm like, hey, person laying under the desk, like, what? Pay attention. Or whatever.
And you're only giving them a house if you let them take your house.
Oh, they will.
They may. Right?
Likely they will.
It's not let them. Like, they're going to come with their army and remove you.
There's historical precedents. I don't remember the specifics of it, of farm auctions, right? The bank comes to take the farm, right? Yep. You defaulted on your payment. The bank comes to take the farm. They held the auction. And the neighbors, the other farmers would go out and support.
Okay, well, that's not you letting them. That's society not letting them.
That's why I said you got to get support.
You let them.
Well, because it's hard to do without support, right?
It's impossible to do without support because it's you versus the United States government.
Yeah, and the government's main thing is turning us against each other.
And then they're going to have your house.
Right. So get support, right? Yep. And then do what the farmers did in whatever year they did, the penny auctions, where they took the farm and they could only sell it back for pennies on the dollar back to the farmer who lost it in the first place because the surrounding neighbors, the community, wouldn't allow anything else.
Well, here on Free Talk Live, generally throughout the years, we've been on the air for close to 2 decades at this point, we tend not to advocate for protests that we won't do ourselves. And that's because, I don't know, you lead from the front, I guess.
That's just honesty. I'm not going to tell you to do something I'm not going to do.
And it's hard to tell somebody to, it's hard. What you're talking about, she ain't easy, right?
Right.
Maybe just move to Saipan where they don't have property taxes.
There you go.
So, public schools there are paid for by, U.S. taxpayers.
Suckers.
Go to the phone lines. Penguin calling him from Virginia. Thank you for calling in on the phone lines. Penguin, I haven't gotten the Discord lines open yet.
Okay, I get a little bit of technical difficulties, I understand. I heard what you were talking about the protest, the Operation Gridlock, I think, protest, and where they're slowing down or blocking traffic. And understanding that, of course, they can't stand outside, they kind of have to improvise.
Well, but
on
they
their
can.
techniques.
That was the thing.
They could. Well, they can. Yes, technically.
Like, they can go stand, or they can have a protest if they want to do it in their cars. They could go to an empty parking lot. That wouldn't be kidnapping
people. And it is
people.
a protest. And it is it is a protest, though. I mean, you might as well break the law or the rule or whatever this thing is.
The right to peaceably assemble. Congress shall make no law is the statement, right?
Well, when you're protesting Congress, I'm not sure how. Yeah, I mean, yeah, sure. But I'm not even sure if you really should respect their rules. But what I'm saying is, why not block traffic? What's the deal? You're protesting.
I would say the first thing is that you're not going to get you're not making any friends. And people already tend to hate protesters. And when protesters stand out in the street or put their cars in the street or whatever, they really put themselves in bad stead. For me, I think it's a PR primarily.
Well, because kidnapping people is bad regardless of what your motives are.
Free Talk Live.
This is George Norrie from Coast to Coast AM and History Channel's Ancient Aliens. We support the amazing energy, nutrition, and skincare products from Jeunesse. Jeunesse products are designed by leading doctors in their field with natural ingredients and even stem cell technology. These products help your body perform and look better. Shop Jeunesse at gcnlife.com or call 1-844-443-6637. gcnlife.com or 844-443-6637.
Jake was in big trouble with the IRS. He owed how much?
$92,000.
Ouch. And the IRS left no room for Jake to breathe.
They put a lien on my house, took all the money out of my bank account, took money out of my paychecks. So it was a nightmare.
He needed help fast.
I figured that all these companies were the same until I called Federal Tax Management. You could just tell they knew what they were talking about. Right then and there, I felt like I had some hope.
Stop the liens, levies, and garnishments fast and qualify for one of several special IRS programs that could reduce or even eliminate your tax debt. So, how'd it go for Jake?
They did what they said they would do. They came through for me. I ended up saving an unbelievable amount. I was so jazzed. I was extremely happy.
If you owe more than $10,000 in back taxes, take Jake's advice.
Give Federal Tax Management a phone call. If they help me, they can help anybody.
Call the Federal Tax Management Hotline now. 800-503-8625. 800-503-8625. 800-503-8625.
Are you afraid to go to the mailbox because of letter after letter from the IRS? Are they stacking on more and more penalties and interest? By now, you know the problem won't go away on its own. Don't let the IRS chase you to your grave with penalties and interest and liens and levies. You need real help now. I'm Dan Pilla. I wrote the book on tax debt settlement, and I help thousands of people solve tax problems they thought couldn't be solved. I can help you too. Call 800-34-NO-TAX or go to my website, danpilla.com. That's danpilla.com. danpilla.com.
So the protection of life, liberty, and property is what the Free State Project is all about. But it's an effort to move 20,000 people who understand.
It's about demonstrating to the entire country
that, yeah, we can have a free market, a truly free market. Making it just a freer, great place to live.
It's the world's largest voluntarist libertarian community, and it's only getting bigger.
That's amazing, to be able to move to a place where other people passionately believe in being free and independent.
What the Free State Project is managing to do, though, is to put their money where their mouth is. It's physically getting up across the country and saying, let's go someplace and let's demonstrate the power of these ideas. There's a lot of kind of philosophy that surrounds liberty. There's a lot of thinking about it and talking about it. But here in New Hampshire, people are doing it.
101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, a documentary by Free State Project Early Movers. Watch it free at 101reasonsfilm.com. 101reasonsfilm.com. LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm. Are you tired of governments murdering people around the world? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin cannot be inflated or controlled by any government. By using their money, you're helping the state. Stop doing it. You have an incredible alternative available now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at bitcoin.com. That's bitcoin.com.
Some of our live shows are streamed in HD on Twitch. Please follow and share at twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live. Go to freetalklive.com, sign up for our newsletter. They'll stay up to date on all the information about Free Talk Live, the stations we add, and the important things that happen, the co-hosts that go to jail. You never know. Here on Free Talk Live. It's Mark with you.
Richie Rich.
And Melanie.
I said Mark, sorry. And we're bringing Penguin from Virginia back on because Melanie didn't like the way he's thinking. So, Penguin, you're back on Free Talk Live to be lambasted by Melanie.
Don't forget to thank her.
Yeah, well, of course, I kind of asked for it because I've called in to respond to what you guys were saying, and I'm seeing you hold it, some of these ideas pretty strongly. I think if you have something, I've never particularly went outside and protested anything myself, but if you have something that angers you this much that you really need to go up against the power
But the power isn't people trying to drive to Walgreens and trying to drive to work. The power is the people in the buildings and the people with the guns.
But protesting may have the and I agree, it could be bad PR. It's cost benefit.
Well, I don't care about PR. Mark cares about PR. I don't care what it looks like. You're not. The fact that you're protesting means people disagree with you. People don't have protests and be like, criminalize murder because everyone agrees with you. So there's no reason to protest that.
Well, so the example that always comes up with that is the priest who gets arrested like on a weekly basis feeding the homeless, right? That's an act of protest because it's illegal to feed the homeless where he was at, and he repeatedly fed the homeless.
Yeah.
That person doing that can garner a sympathetic audience of people going like, yeah, they should not be arresting a priest for feeding the homeless, even though it's illegal, right? Whereas other protests do not garner that sympathy and don't have the same public relations that you would want for support of your cause.
But if you're but I don't care about that. I care about, are you doing something that is wrong? And if you're blocking the road and you're not a tow truck or emergency services or a road repair person, then the answer is yes. And
I mean, I think. Okay, go ahead.
if you could somehow identify who was part of blocking the road versus who was just trying to get through, which practically you can't, but if you somehow could, I would have no problem with physically removing those people from the road, because don't block roads.
That's ridiculous. If you're going to protest something, this is a near totalitarian society. If you're going to protest something, yes, people may be inconvenienced. Yes, people may be interrupted.
But you're protesting
yes,
a
lockdown
by locking down the street.
Property might be destroyed. Things might happen.
You're describing a riot, not a protest.
Pick your target then.
Well,
destroy the government buildings.
Everybody on the road is not your enemy. The government is your enemy.
So I'm going to go back to the PR, all right? You're not going to get what you want if you make enough people angry. All you're going to get is the opposite of what you want. And remember, everybody who protests starts out in the negative. Because people, for whatever reason, like there's been studies on this, people hate protesters. So what you have to do with a protest, you have to somehow turn your audience. And the public sentiment matters. So
having a 90-year-old priest feed homeless people is great PR.
That is awesome. And look at that and see how you can get that kind of PR. But standing in the road, parking in the road, doing whatever, gives the people with whom you disagree all of the moral high ground. And it's a terrible position to take. You may be angry. Those people may be wrong. Whatever. The world's full of wrong people. We live in a society that for the 9,000 years prior to this thought that slavery was acceptable and moral. And just now is managing to drag itself out of that. And all the protests, all the slave revolts, all the things that were done prior to that, very few of them had any real, change. So it takes time to change people's minds. Thanks for the call, Penguin, though. I do appreciate it. Thank you. Free Talk Live. Let's go to David calling in from New Mexico. David, you're on Free Talk Live.
Yeah, exposing gang tactics, but comment on what you just said. You guys are doing a bunch of the right things, and I don't want to go all into that, but what you're not doing is what would really make you effective is, I mean, if you take the example of who came to this continent in the first place, they just up and left. And I know you went to New Hampshire, but there's still a bunch of people around there. Meanwhile, there's a whole bunch of places in the U.S. that are almost empty, and if you really want to get away from them, up and leave, go to those places in small communities, and then just totally don't interact to the degree that you can, which is quite a bit. But anyway, busting up gangs. So the government media complex and listening to you on KENN in Farmington, New Mexico.
Dave, hey,
yeah.
I do want to talk about your topic, but at this point, you brought something up, and I want to talk about it. So the idea of how do you get freer?
Actually, you brought it up, and I commented on it.
Okay.
But now that we got that straightened out, go ahead.
Let's go to it. I mean, you're on enough that we'll get to your topic in due time. But I got a few minutes here, and I want to talk about this. So now I'm a bit of an expert on these projects where you should move to this place, you should move to that place. I run a page on Facebook called the Move Here Project, and it doesn't have to be updated very often because there's not very many of these projects. But back in the day, there was like Ron Paul Town in Texas. They were going to move out to West Texas in some county where there's not very many people in a county. And, there's so many counties in Texas. It's amazing. And you can literally move there. But, like Texas is something like at the time was like the 23rd freest state in the union. So not exactly, the freest place in America. And so, I mean, you're still under the thumb of Texas. And
but you're not if they're not paying attention to you, and if you're not breaking their laws and you're not interacting with them, then they're not really paying attention to you, and there's more to be said about that, but let me shut up and let you respond to that comment.
So there's a documentary on YouTube I watched a long time ago. I believe it's called Anarchism in America, and it was a very small group of people who moved out, I believe, to like the desert in New Mexico, somewhere out there.
This is where Dave lives.
Right, but they started their own little community. No paved roads, no way to get there. You have to haul the trip into town to get supplies or whatever. but they were left virtually all alone because it wasn't worth enforcing anything out there. So to David's credit and to his point, yeah, there are places that you can go where you are still technically under the thumb of the government, but not worth their time and effort.
Also, most of New Hampshire is rural, so most of New Hampshire is almost like that anyway.
Well, I thought I'd found the place, the freest place in the Union when I went to the Commonwealth of the Northern Mariana Islands for the Crypto Frontier project. And I'm certainly not going to speak poorly of it because, yeah, I mean, you know, there's a lot of freedom going on. However, the COVID-19 thing happened and they locked down the island. I mean, there's no flights coming in or going out. All they have is the little crop dusters that run from that island hop, the island hoppers, I guess as they call them. And that's it. I mean, you can go to Guam, but you have to basically take one of these little things to go there. Previously, you could take a United jet. You know, and until that comes back, I'm not terribly interested in, you know, heading on over.
If you weren't planning on leaving the Northern Marianas, though, like what difference did that make?
Well, I was, though. I mean, I only had a couple more weeks that I intended to stay because I had my time frame set out. I got to get 183 days to be a bona fide resident of the Commonwealth of Northern Mariana Islands, and you know, that and a few other hurdles that one jumps. You get huge tax savings, and the IRS takes you off the rolls, which is a big deal, right? Like, it's the scariest organization in America. And one thing that Dave has done, which is laudable, right, is he's cut his income so he doesn't have to pay these people.
Yeah.
And go ahead.
No, please.
No, and I was going to say that's what I'm getting at. That along with what Richie said is that you're subject to them, but they're not paying any attention because you're not breaking any law and you're not worth bothering with, and so you essentially become free in that manner. And then you cut your living expenses so low that you really don't have to play in their world very much. Almost every one of your needs comes from what you're producing within your own community or what you're trading for outside of your community. But my point is it can be done, and the model's been done over and over and over again. I don't want to drag you through that. Just think of all the different, the Pilgrims came here, and then the Mormons went there, and the Amish are doing this over here, and the Mennonites are doing that, and the Indians are sticking to themselves, and those things to a great degree work. And what I'm saying is that's been done over and over and over and over again from very tiny scales to large scales, and with idiots, Jim Jones and David Koresh and all that crap too. But if you don't do the negative stuff,
well, yeah, just because somebody did something stupid doesn't mean that they didn't they don't have something in their model that's worth following. David, thank you so much. I really think this is a great conversation to be had, and we gotta be open to new ideas so that you can hear new thoughts. And I never really quite thought of it the way that David was saying there. So, yeah, well, freetalklive.com. Put your mask on. Go to the internet.
Remember when you first heard about Bitcoin? How long did it take you to realize this little project would soon change the world? Do you kind of wish you had got involved sooner? Well, now is your chance to be a part of the next revolution in money. Intercoin is working to finally make crypto go mainstream. It's designed to be scalable enough to support everyday payments and even elections without the state. Bitcoin was originally supposed to be a peer-to-peer cash system, the way we would all pay one another without having to trust any third party. But instead, over time, it mostly became a store of value. That's because every 10 minutes, the Bitcoin network must put all transactions into a block, and that block can only hold so much. If crypto is to become mainstream for people to use it for everyday payments, we need a new architecture, one that is as secure as Bitcoin while being far more scalable. Check out intercoin.org to find out more and maybe pick up some of those coins for yourself.
So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com. The LRN.FM social media channels have been revamped. We've eliminated Facebook and focused on other platforms like Twitter and Mastodon, the decentralized alternative to Twitter. On our accounts, you'll find posts from multiple LRN.FM show hosts together in one place. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.lrn.fm, or better yet, move to the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm. I think you'll like it.
This is the Liberty Radio Network, broadcasting the latest liberty-oriented audio content 24 hours a day at LRN.FM.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for liberty news and activist updates. Produced in partnership with the SNLS Network and listeners like you. Online at snlsnetwork.com. I'm Mick Murrow with your latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Gold is trading at $1,731, silver at $15.51, and Bitcoin is trading around $7,025. Today's gold, silver, and Bitcoin prices are brought to you by Brave Botanicals. High-quality kratom and CBD at reasonable prices with excellent customer service. Brave Botanicals is activist-owned and mission-driven. The Liberty Beat and Brave Botanicals believe so strongly in the power